The most poisonous thing was the woman's heart. The most poisonous thing was the woman's heart. There was nothing wrong with his words. Evil girl, Saints could no longer be described as vicious. Her poison had reached a level that no one could compare to. Xie Yun brought the unconscious Xie Qin to retreat and fight. There were only 300 or so evil sound sects left when the entire 3,000-plus disciples retreated to the 10,000 Yin Valley. More than 2,700 people were killed. It only took half a day. Senior sister, what should we do? Are we going in? Senior sister, Xie Qin slightly said. Elder senior sister, stop Long Fei, go in. If they didn't go in, all of them would die. Xie Yun's brows tightened and said, enter the forbidden grounds. Under Xie Yun's lead, the 300-plus people swiftly entered the 10,000 Yin forbidden land. The evil girl, Saints, slowly descended. Looking at the entrance to the forbidden land of 10,000 Yin, he let out a cold laugh. Something that doesn't know its limits. Do you think you can live just by entering? How ridiculous! All you will do is die faster. Qiu Wantian, Qi Mei, Inu walked over. Qiu Wantian asked, Holy Maiden, are we going to let them in just like that? We're not going to chase after him. Evil girl, Saint sneered. If you want to die, then go chase them. The sect leader of the blood refinement sect, Yin Yu, had a lewd smile on his face as he said, What a pity I have yet to taste that kind of feeling. What do we do now? Evil girl Saints coldly spat out one word. Wait. She knew how dangerous the forbidden land of Yin was. Even if she went in once, she wouldn't dare to recklessly go in again. Waiting was the best way. Qiu Wantian also knew that the 10,000 Yin Valley was no ordinary place. Just the evil Yin Qi alone was enough to make people tremble in fear. Qiu Wantian smiled. Then we will wait. And then there was Long Fei. The moment he entered the 10,000 Yin forbidden land. Xiaobai scout. Ice and fire fly at a low altitude. Pay attention to the movements in the air. Understood. Yes, sir. One wolf and one dragon rushed out of war pet space. Long Fei kept his eyes on his surroundings, and the surrounding Yin Qi swirled around his mind as if it was constantly absorbing his profound spirit Qi. Yen Huang ancestor slightly reminded him. Brat, there's something wrong here. Be careful. Roar. Xiaobai roared. At this moment, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Yin Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Qi is 1,500 points. Energy values is 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Yin Snake Courage. Item Yin Snake Gall description. One of the items needed to refine the twisting sound poison. Long Fei looked at the system description, and his heart tensed up. Indeed, there is no mistake. There is a poison refiner, but there must be a detoxification one. The one refining the poison is the snake gall, then the detoxification one. It must be some kind of spirit grass. All living things are at odds with each other. Long Fei immediately checked carefully to see if there were any special spirit grass around. Half an hour passed. At this moment, boom, a devil shadow descended from the skies, firmly landing in front of Long Fei, God's devil ancient case. The corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly lifted and lightly smiled. I'm back. The God's devil ancient case swayed gently, as if it had an intelligence of its own, and understood Long Fei's words. Long Fei moved his right hand, and the God's devil ancient case obediently landed on his right hand. Long Fei withdrew the idea and put it back inside the space ring. At this moment, the God's devil ancient case did not enter the space ring, but instead suddenly flew out. Whoosh! They landed in a dark corner and found a young spirit grass with 2 young leaves. Long Fei quickly walked up, looked at the spirit grass that was holding onto the size of a pinky, and asked, "Is this the spirit grass used to detoxify the sound poison?" The idea moved through the system. Item: sound yuan magic grass description. A spirit grass that can dispel sound poisons. This is it, but this is just a young spirit grass. It doesn't have any medicinal properties. What use does it have? Long Fei was bitter. This kind of spirit grass was completely unable to enter the pill furnace's alchemy. He couldn't withstand the attacks of the true qi. Useless. At this moment, once again, the god's devil ancient case seemed to understand what Long Fei was worrying about. A wave of demonic energy was released and directly swallowed the young spirit grass. Buzz. The god's devil ancient case trembled. The box opened. A mature sound elemental magic grass appeared on top of the box. Long Fei was completely shocked. Damn, what's going on? Yen Huang ancestor was also instantly in an uproar. I said it can allow spirit grass to grow faster. I was right, right? Ha ha ha. How could a dignified High Lord Yen Huang make a mistake? Yen Huang ancestor had been depressed for half a month because of this. What do you mean fast growth? This was an instant growth. However, Long Fei and the Yen Huang ancestor did not know that, but that was because the power that the god's devil ancient case used to devour the soul of the ancient devil was exactly what Sidufeng had said it would be. God's devil ancient case required a soul sacrifice to be able to activate a stronger power. However, he only knew one, not knowing the other thing. The reason why God's devil ancient case were able to grow in an instant was because of the spirit grass that were bred underground in the blood sea. During the process of growth, some of the spirit grass's profound qi was absorbed. It was only then that the tender yuan demon grass began to grow. Ha ha ha. Forefather, you're awesome, aren't you? Long Fei was also excited. The god's devil ancient case was a treasure. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Qi is 1,500 points. Energy values is 1 point. Ding. Ding. The deeper one went, the more Snake there were. Moreover, they were all 5 monsters, and their defensive and offensive capabilities were extremely strong. Ice and fire, you follow me? Yes, sir. Ice and fire rushed down, flames immediately spitting out of his throat. Brother Xiaobai, I'm here to help you. Long Fei brought the god's devil ancient case to quickly search for the sound origin magic grass. He was the most worried about Xie Qin's sound binding poison, and he needed to hurry up and get out. A few hours later, Long Fei had already found over 50 yuan demon grass. But just as he was about to leave the forbidden grounds, Xiaobai suddenly shouted out in fear, "Boss, you better come and see for yourself." Bing, who also took a step back. With his Adam's apple rolling slightly, he said, "We are in danger." F***CK, you are all divine beast. Can't you have some backbone? Even when facing divine beast S, you can't say such words. Long Fei looked down on them and walked forward. In front of him was a ravine. The ravine was a passageway that led into the depths of darkness. 36O search. Half floating / equals the 2 sides of the gorge were filled with bright red flowers. This flower Long Fei had a sense of familiarity. Looking at the gully again, Long Fei's eyes suddenly froze, his scalp went numb, and his entire body shivered. Without any hesitation, he retreated a step and shouted, "Run!" Chapter 5. Table of Contents 8_8419/2356695. Without a second thought, he turned around and fled. Without a second thought, he turned around and fled. Why? Because the ravine was filled with snakes. A sea of snakes. It was a huge snake, dozens of meters wide, as thick as a bucket. This alone was not enough. If it was these, Long Fei would not flee but be excited, because these were all experience points. How could he run away? Of course, it was to start a massacre and turn everything upside down. Then why did he run? Because one of the snakes had grown half a human body, Lamia, daughter of the devil's snake. The snake girl's head was covered with small snakes, constantly flicking her tongue, and her body was emitting a unique magic power. It was extremely cold. Moreover, when Long Fei was looking at the crack, the Lamia was also looking at him. If she did not run, he would become a stone. Medusa, or the serpent's Cassiopeia, no matter what. Long Fei did not want to provoke him. Those two eyes were staring at him in pain. At the very least, he did not want to provoke him right now. Xiaobai caught up and asked, "Master, what's wrong?" Icefire said, "Master, you aren't scared, are you?" "Scared? Fuck, will I be scared?" Long Fei immediately pretended to be very fierce. "I don't want to kill innocent people. Everything in the world has life. It's not good to kill too many people." Amitba. Scared? Would Long Fei say that in his previous life he suffered from the fear of being possessed by the Lamia? He liked to play online games, and he also played competitive games. Naturally, he had played the same game in the 101s, and it wasn't bad, but he had met the disgusting Lamia before. From then on, he had the fear of being possessed by the Lamia. He tried to avoid her as much as he could, but he couldn't. Every time, it was black and white TV. Very annoying. It wasn't that his mechanics were bad, nor was it anything else. It was just that in his heart, there was truly a fear, the fear of being able to kill an infinite number of people. Thus, when he saw the snake girl in the ravine, he immediately thought of the snake girl in the 1010. The fear in his heart once again surged to his heart. Huff! Long Fei exhaled and cursed in his heart. Damn, I didn't think that I would bring all the fear I had from my previous life here. After running for about 10 minutes, after confirming that no snakes were chasing after them, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. Xiaobai asked, "Master, what do we do now?" Ice and Fire also said that gully is also a passage to the second level. Moreover, "Master, did you see the flowers on the wall that were drenched in blood?" Flowers? That flower immediately appeared in Long Fei's mind. His mind shivered as he thought to himself, "I believe it has sounded out. That is a blood orchid from a movie about the python's calamity, and it has the effect of prolonging one's lifespan." In the movie, the snakes only grow like big trees after eating that flower. Long Fei nodded and said, "I see it. Ice and fire. Do you recognize it?" "Bing," was said slightly. "I'm not sure, but if it is, it should be a flower of life and death, also known as the equinox flower. This kind of flower's power is extremely strong." The snakes didn't rush out because of the flowers. Those flowers are about to mature. They will only bloom for a minute, and if you miss this minute, they will wither and lose all their strength. It will take you thousands of years to flower again, and this kind of flower only blooms in the Infield, and is said to be the place where life and death are linked. Bing was said slowly. Although he was a young dragon, he had saved most of his memories. In the world, only the Dragon Clan could do this. Only the Dragon Clan knew about these secrets. Yan Huang ancestor also slightly said, "Ice and Fire are right, this is indeed an equinox flower. Didn't you say you want to refine the sonic twisting poison as an antidote? This kind of flower is also an essential spirit grass." "Huh." Long Fei was stunned. "So you're saying I have no other choice?" He wanted to concoct the antidote for the twisting sound poison, and he needed to, but if he could not obtain the life and death flower, and was unable to refine it, then Xie Qin would definitely die. This way, Long Fei had no other choice. He had to go, even if he had to. Then, Long Fei stood up and said faintly, "Shall by ice and fire. Here. Here." One wolf, one dragon, one standing on Long Fei's left, and one right, their eyes like torches waiting for Long Fei's orders. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He took out his dragon salyer, pointed at the ravine, and said, "Target, Sea of Snakes, advance." "Yes, sir." "Yes." Xiao Bai and Bing, who were the first to walk out. Long Fei took a step forward, and when he wasn't paying attention, he tripped over a rock and stumbled, almost falling to the ground. Xiao Bai and Bing, who had turned around to look at Long Fei's staggering appearance. Xiao Bai said slightly, "Master, are you afraid?" "Long Fei." Xiao Bai slightly said, "If you're afraid, then let's go." Ice and Fire muttered, "Brother Xiao Bai, why would Master be afraid? Have you ever seen your master afraid?" "Long Fei." The two divine beasts sang the same tune, causing Long Fei to want to get angry, but he was sure that there was still a little fear in his heart that had not been cleared. But since he had already made up his mind, then do it. "What rubbish are you talking about? Stop my command later." Long Fei shouted loudly and bolstered his courage. When he thought about the great move of the Lamia in his mind, he started to worry. "I hope you're thinking too much. I hope this isn't a Cassiopeia, and definitely not a Medusa. She's just a pure white woman, a gentle white lady." "No way." "Bai Swanjin is too strong. She's just an ordinary demon beast." Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Long Fei and the other two walked for an entire half an hour on the road. They had already reached the edge of the ravine. Long Fei moved, linking to Bing Hua and Xiao Bai's idea, and said, "You guys take a step back. I'll go take a look first." He leaned forward slightly, and in that instant, the pair of eyes in the ravine suddenly turned and stared at him. The snake girl on top of her head flicked her tongue at him. F***CK. Long Fei was instantly angered and cursed in his heart. "I'm afraid of you when I play games. Why would I be afraid of you in this different world? If I don't screw you today, I will change my surname to yours. I am a wild king fighter. Ice and fire." Boom. Ice and fire soared into the sky as Long Fei leapt onto the dragon's back. "Spit them to death." Ice and fire surged through his throat as flames blanketed the entire ravine like a fiery bandit. Rumble! Rumble! Flames shot to the sky. However, Long Fei looked at the damage floating above the snake heads, and his heart tensed up. Damn, his defense is too powerful. Ice and fire. Lock onto the target. It's locked. Ice and fire 9 heavens. Long Fei moved and instantly released the idea. Crack! The sky turned. The power within the 9-layered heavens burst out, and the power beam from the first layer shot down vertically. Boom! Baidu search. Half afloat, 4-digit damage? I'll be fucked. Ice and fire. Prepare the power of the second heaven. Chapter 18_2356696. Ice and fire 9 heavens. Ice and fire 9 heavens. It contained the probability of instant death and could instantly kill any ranker below the War Emperor realm. However, the impact of the first stage's power only created a damage of less than 2,000. Even Long Fei was speechless. This defense is way too strong. Immediately, without even thinking about it, Long Fei immediately ordered ice and fire to prepare the power of the second heaven. During this time, ice and fire also grew by quite a bit. Now, he didn't need to forcefully release it. His current power was enough to support the release of the second heaven's energy. The ice-fire idea moved the energy in its body swiftly vacating. It said faintly, "Master, we're ready." Long Fei's idea and the ice and fire idea were connected together. Join attack. Ice and Fire 9 Heavens, second stage. Ice and Fire Thunderbolt. Kacha. A loud sound rang out in the sky as the 9 heavens started to madly revolve. Lightning started to wreak havoc as the power within the second heaven activated. It was as if the power was descending from the heavens. The entire forbidden land of 10,000 een was in turmoil. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Long Fei looked at the pair of eyes within the flames and said faintly, "Blast it for me." Boom. The fiery blaze, thunder locked onto its target and struck down vertically. Whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh. Huge snakes continued to rush forward, blocking in front of the Lamia, and continued to bombard her. Those huge snakes were directly blown to smithereens. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Een Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Chi X 800, energy values X1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Een Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Chi X 800, energy values X1. Ding. The system kept ringing. Long Fei was also extremely excited and furious at the same time. Feeling good. Infinite single kill. F*CK. I am afraid of you now. Hearing the system beep, Long Fei's entire body started to boil, and he was extremely shocked in his heart. An ice and fire-like thunder attack is several times stronger than the one from the Fire Prairie. If touched, it might even instantly kill a War Emperor rancor. Hee hee. So cool. As long as those Een Snake leaders could pounce on them, they would be killed instantly. Not only that, his ice-fire thunderbolt attack hadn't weakened in the slightest. If he locked onto the target, he would definitely attack it. This was a skill. Boom. The lightning that was formed by interweaving ice and fire struck the Lamia's head, but those tiny snakes no longer showed any arrogance. Instead, they let out hideous shrieks. Lightning crashed to the ground. The whole ravine was filled with lightning. Ding, ding, ding. These were all Een Snakes, or perhaps the sounds of the Een Snake's leader being killed. A few seconds passed. A bright red number floated above the Lamia's head. At this moment, Long Fei's scalp felt like it was about to explode. Fuck! What defense? It's impossible for the Lamia's defense to be this strong. She's just a fragile piece of skin. How can she be so valiant? At this moment, Yen Huang Ancestor suddenly warned, "Danger!" Buzz. Yen Huang Ancestor released a stream of power, immediately blinding Long Fei's eyes. Ah! The Lamia let out a mournful cry, causing all the snakes in the ravine to tremble. As she shouted, a strong and strange power emerged from her eyes as Long Fei shouted, "Ice and fire." The sound covered the entire midair. Ice and fire quickly petrified from the top of her head to her wings, her body petrified in a flash, just like Medusa and Cassiopeia. Ice and fire. Master! Xiao Bai also let out a loud roar. Leaping up with a step, his body suddenly exploded as a wolf god's spear appeared in the sky. Shua! The wolf god's lance struck down. The Lamia was also furious to the extreme. Her eyes were covered in a layer of gray energy and aura as she roared again. Ah! Wolf God who was falling from the sky had been petrified by the impact as he fell from the sky and shattered into pieces. It was also at this moment, Bing, whose entire body was petrified. If he were to fall down, his body would definitely shatter. Long Fei clenched his teeth, rolled over, and landed under the ice and fire. Pulling the power from the ice and fire, he moved and heavily pulled the ice and fire out of the ravine. Hiss, hiss. The snake's tongue had electricity, and the venom continued to spew out. The moment Long Fei dropped the ice and fire onto the ground, he shouted loudly, "Xiaobai, come back!" The wolf god's spear was shattered. Xiaobai was so angry that he turned into a mess. He did not care about anything else as he directly rushed into the ravine, exploding forth with the full might of his divine beast. "Do you want to use my wolf god spear? I want to get rid of your ancestors." He killed madly. He did not care about the venom that was spraying on his body. He did not defend at all as he continued to charge at the lamia. The sea of snakes in the ravine pounced forward crazily. Xiaobai was engulfed. "Xiaobai!" Long Fei's heart tightened. "Fuck. I don't believe it today." Yan Huang ancestor said, "After you kill that lamia, the petrification on Bing, whose body will disappear. Remember, you must be fast." Long Fei held the dragon's salure tightly in his right hand and leaped into the air. God's devil blade. Autumn water blade appeared in his hand, floating in the air. Long Fei carried his blades on his back, his eyes like that of a ferocious beast. Three-blade stream. Hushou. Wang. Three tiger-like lines of power were released and heavily struck down. The lamia's huge tail swept out, blocking the three sabers. Bam! A scarlet number floated above her head, but at the same time, Long Fei was also thrown backwards by the huge tail. Bam! Smashing into the wall of an equinox flower that was dripping with blood. The area below the equinox flower was densely packed with thin snakes that were as dense as wire. Long Fei moved. Both his blades moved like lightning and said with a heavy smile, "You're protecting these flowers, right? I will destroy it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh." Asterisk, they crazily killed all the equinox flower. The lamia was going crazy. Bam! It was also at this time that the engulfed Xiaobai's body immediately grew bigger and thicker, shaking a large area of giant snakes away. This is crazy, right? The more crazy you are, the more I want to destroy these flowers. The lamia was angry, and Long Fei became even more furious. The ice flame was petrified. If he did not have a trace of power from Yan Huang ancestor, he would have been petrified as well. The ice fire was in danger right now, and the anger in Long Fei's heart was 10,000 times stronger than the lamia's. When Long Fei destroyed those equinox flowers, the sea of snakes in the ravine pounced towards Xiang Long Fei without caring about their lives. No one paid any attention to Xiaobai at all as they madly pounced towards him. Just like that, these equinox flower were like their ancestral tombs. Suddenly, a ray of moonlight scattered down. In moon, the yin qi suddenly doubled. The temperature in the true valley plummeted. It was also at this moment, Yan Huang ancestor said excitedly, "The equinox flower is about to mature." Chapter 28_8419/2356697. The equinox flower is about to mature. The equinox flower is about to mature. As the moonlight scattered down, the flower buds of the bloodied equinox flower began to move, and each flower began to emit an unusual aura of power. This aura was very special. Just as Ice and Fire had said, there was a link between life and death. It could be said to be wonderful. He really couldn't bear to pull himself out. However, Long Fei, who was still burning with anger, did not care about all that. "I don't care what kind of equinox flower you are, what you can't bear to pull yourself out, what wonderful things. If you don't let me feel good, I will definitely not let you go." He now knew why these yin snake and lamia did not chase after them. It turned out that they were all protecting these equinox flower, the equinox flower that was about to mature. Long Fei pointed to an equinox flower that was about to mature and smirked as he stared at the lamia. "Do you want it?" The lamia's eyes were extremely vicious. However, Without waiting for her to speak, Long Fei slashed fiercely. Shwa! The equinox flower was chopped into pieces. Its rhizomes swiftly withered, the petals withered, and it immediately turned into powder. There was no aura of power. Hiss, hiss. The lamia was furious. If looks could kill, then Long Fei would already be dead. The entire ravine was filled with Ian's snake howling and raging, but no snake dared to approach Long Fei, much less attack him, because Long Fei was stuck on the equinox flower's wall. If one was not careful, they would injure the equinox flower, because that was something they had to protect for 1,000 years. It was a sacred object in their hearts. Long Fei also observed this point and silently thought, so the equinox flower is your weakness. Ha ha. Shao, by kill wildly. If any one of them dares to fight back, I will cut down an equinox flower. Long Fei shouted loudly. Xiao Bai was also extremely angry and replied, Understood. At this moment, Xiao Bai turned into a killing machine. With wolf claws, he killed crazily, and everywhere he went, not a single blade of grass grew. Ding! Ding, ding, ding. Every time Xiao Bai killed an Yin snake, a prompt would sound out in his mind, and his experience soared crazily. Those Yin snake opened their mouths wide open as they rushed towards Xiao Bai. Without waiting for them to bite down, Long Fei sneered, cut off a stalk of equinox flower, and said, You dare to be arrogant? Fuck, why don't you try again? The Yin snake leaders immediately retreated, not daring to bite down at all. Yan Huang ancestor slightly said, This is simply a waste of heaven's resources, Sai. These are all good stuff. Long Fei also knew that this was a good thing, but he knew even more that no matter how good something was, it was not as important as his brother's life. Nothing could compare to the life of a brother. Long Fei was just like that. Once he decided on this brother, he would go through fire and tread on water, and wouldn't even frown when a blade touched a sea of fire, let alone a mere equinox flower. Even if it was his life, he would absolutely not hesitate. The life of brothers, this was Long Fei. Yan Huang ancestor gave a faint reminder. Don't forget the antidote for the twisting sound poison. Just a tiny bit of the flower petal's power is enough for you. There's only a little bit of time left before maturity. Xie life depended on this equinox flower. Long Fei's heart tensed up, stared at the lamia, and sneered. You want these equinox flower? If you want to, then smash yourself into the wall. Hiss, 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 hiss. The 10,000 Yin snakes seemed to understand Long Fei's words. They all climbed up and flicked their tongues at Long Fei. Seeing that, Long Fei raised his blade and chopped down, causing another large group of equinox flower to shatter. The Yin snake began to tremble. Their bodies immediately curled up and shriveled up. Long Fei bellowed, Why aren't you being arrogant? Continue. Lamia. Do as I say or else. Suddenly, at this moment, the uppermost equinox flower had matured, and its flower bud had bloomed. It was like an incomparably enchanting blood-colored eye, carrying with it an aura of death from hell. Similarly, it also gave off the boiling atmosphere of heaven, life and death intertwined together. That feeling, Long Fei was unable to explain it, but it was as if everything had become incomparably wonderful. More importantly, Long Fei's dragon salure was still a little far from that quasi-mature equinox flower, so it was impossible for him to cut it in an instant. Yan Huang ancestor's voice also became excited. It has matured. It has matured, kid. It only has a minute to pluck before it wilts, and if it's picked early, it will wither as well. Quick! Snatch! Long Fei's heart was moved, and his body also followed along. At this moment, the lamia who had been patient the entire time also moved. Her body attacked like a ghost, the snake's tongue flicking. she directly swept towards the mature equinox flower. The snake's tongue was like lightning. As long as she caught it, that equinox flower would be hers. She only needed one, and you can completely evolve it. All the Een snake were staring at her and cheering because the snake trust was already within reach of the equinox flower. The Lamia's eyes also shone with excitement. She was also excited. However, the corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and he laughed out wildly. Do you think I, your father, would go steal the equinox flower? Wrong. What I want is not the equinox flower, but your life. Hold the knife with both hands, lifting it to his back. Long Fei's idea sank and roared out loud in his heart. Three-rate peerless technique. Boom. As aura suddenly changed, tightening the space between his brows, his eyes lightening fast as he locked onto the snake girl's tongue that was spitting out of her mouth. In that instant, Long Fei roared, Dragon God's Berserk slash. Rumble. The dragon spirit shadow shot out. The blood of the dragon Salier flashed. Crack. It hacked down heavily. The Lamia's long tongue was cut off. It was also at this moment. Nearly 3 million points of damage. What an absolute punch. Ah. The Lamia let out a blood-curdling screech as blood spurted out from her mouth. Her body frantically struggled, sweeping her huge tail across the ravine. The entire ravine was in chaos. The entire forbidden land of 10,000 Een was trembling. Ah! Woo! Ah! A ghost-like wail sounded out. I need you to be sick while you're sick. Long Fei grabbed the mature equinox flower and placed it among the space ring. This one was enough. With just a little bit, he could refine the antidote for the sound-binding poison. Right now, he did not need to care about the other equinox flower. What they wanted was to kill. When the Lamia was enraged, the sea of snakes in the ravine was also furious, and they all pounced towards Xiang Longfei with their lives on the line. Fei, give me some firepower. As soon as he finished, Long Fei summoned his Thunder Dragon Rod, and with a sinking body, he jumped into the crevice of the sea of snakes. He roared in his heart, Thunder Dragon Rod, 10,000 Great Thunderbolt. Fire flew out from the Thunder Dragon Rod's pearl and said, Elf Element, Buzz. The strength of the Thunder Dragon Rod suddenly multiplied. The 8 lightning dragons madly shot out. Chapter 38_8419/235668. The scene was like a substation explosion. The high-voltage electricity rampaged crazily. The power of thunder and the power of Feyr's lightning element enveloped the entire ravine. The 8 dragons angry. Thunder rumbled in all directions. The sea of snakes in the ravine turned into powder. When it came into contact with the lightning, it instantly split into 2. The next time it touched, it split into 2, causing blood to splatter everywhere. At the same time, in Long Fei's mind, the system beep was like a dam-releasing flood, gushing out like a torrent. It wasn't ding, ding, ding sounds, but rather wave after wave of rumbling, rumbling. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Een Snake, for obtaining an experience point, True Chi X 800, energy values X1. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Een Snake Courage. Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating Een Snake, for obtaining experience points. True Chi 1500 points, energy values 1 point. Congratulations. It sounded like a madman. This feeling was simply too thrilling. Awesome. Not only were the Een Snake constantly being killed, the equinox flower on the wall also became ashes. The Yen Huang ancestor shouted, Equinox flower, equinox flower, equinox flower. Oh my God, my equinox flower. Boy, you You are simply, this sovereign is going crazy from your anger. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Yen Huang ancestor was so angry by Long Fei that he almost died. These equinox flower were not ordinary things. However, Long Fei didn't care at all. He had already obtained an equinox flower. As long as he could cure the poison in Xie Qin's body, it would suffice. As for the other things, Long Fei had never thought of them before. Ice and fire were still petrified. He had to kill the lamia as soon as possible. Long Fei did not think about the equinox flower. Ah, ah, ah. Within the lightning field, the lamia constantly let out furious roars. Looking at the equinox flowerets that had matured into powder one by one, she directly went berserk. I'm going to kill you. The voice was abrupt and unclear, but it was clear what she was saying. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, Kill me? Then come. 3-rate peerless technique. Without waiting for the lamia to rush up once again, Long Fei charged up with the dragon salyer in one hand. Then it's coming. Boom. Bedevilment. When the heavenly demon chi was released, the blade of the dragon salyer changed to a bloodied blade, and that sinister blood dragon spirit shadow resided on the blade. Move. Swish. In the blink of an eye, it had already landed beside the lamia's body. With a slash from the dragon salyer, the blood-red dragon god roared out. The lamia exerted all her strength as well. Bam! Bloody light shot into the sky. Long Fei was flung out. The lamia also staggered back a few steps. A bright red number floated up above her head. Again. Boom. Long Fei once again exploded out. Boom. Clang. The dragon salyer flew out of his hand from the shock. Long Fei was sent flying, and he fell to the ground. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth as his eyebrows shook, and he clenched his fists tightly, as if he had gone insane. Continue. Bam. Bam. Long Fei was no longer afraid of the lamia hair. Furthermore, the lamia hex was no longer effective against him. Although the Yen Huang ancestor was angry, his power was still continuously provided to Long Fei and was protected by both of his eyes. As long as he could protect her eyes, the lamia's move would be useless against Long Fei. Just like in the 101th move, with her back facing the lamia, only a small amount of damage and movement speed would be slowed down, but it didn't have any petrifying effect. Boom! The god's devil blade was sent flying. The level 4 god's devil body, S. Long Fei, was also wounded and was dripping with blood. What a pity! I can't wear a sky demon set. The demonic set was still in the seal, so he had to complete the mission of being the demon lord before he could remove it. However, so what? Long Fei swatted his palm, his body bounced, and rushed forward once again. At the same time, Xiao Bai continued to kill. The system beep in Long Fei's mind did not stop there. 1 hour passed. Long Fei continued to fight with all his might. The lamia's expression became more and more unsightly. The amount of blood on her head had also decreased by half. 2 hours passed. Long Fei was still continuing, his strength not diminishing by even a little. He was still frantically fighting with his life on the line. The lamia's health fell yet again. 3 hours passed. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Elder level. Level 3. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed madly. He recovered all of his attributes, recovered his full strength, and returned to the peak realm. Long Fei laughed madly and said, Xiao Bai, continue to kill. Snake girl, I want to wash away my shame. The anger from his previous life had exploded out. What was this? Infinite bedsheet killings? I'll ride on your back today, and kill you. Long Fei, who was in his best condition, suddenly shot out and hugged the snake girl, roaring in his heart, "Three-rate peerless technique." Boom! With an eightfold increase in his attributes, Long Fei exerted strength into both his arms, and the veins on his body bulged as his blood-red color wildly surged, and he roared out, "Get on the ground!" Boom! The lamia was also severely injured and riddled with scars. Long Fei's sudden recovery of his full condition, strength, and true qi shocked her. In that moment, she let a little bit of carelessness fall to the ground as Long Fei threw her. Ha ha ha! Without waiting for the lamia's resistance, Long Fei sat on her chest and aimed at the two lumps of meat. He extended his right hand and clenched his fingers from his pinky to her thumb. They formed a fist. He aimed at that ball of flesh and smashed it down. Boom! The lamia's body trembled, and it caved in first. His left fist punched out again, and then the storm-like attacks flattened, sank, leveled, and then the fight turned into an airport. During this period, those snake that were not dead yet pounced on Xiang Longfei crazily, and Longfei's entire body was bitten. But he didn't care at all. Make a move on my brother? This is the result. Boom, boom. You want to petrify me? This is the result. Killing me alone without end. This is what happens to me. Arrogant. Arrogant in front of lousy. You're still too inexperienced. Long Fei roared as he continued to bombard the snake girl, causing the blood on her head to fly faster and faster. He was getting more and more excited. Prepare your striking energy value. Ha ha! Long Fei looked at the half-dead lamia and excitedly laughed. I'm going to blow you up. His fist speed increased. The power was even more intense than before. The lamia was now stunned by the attack and could not react at all. Punch after punch from Long Fei equals semi/floating life plus, and then again. With all the equinox flower destroyed, she had already given up all hope. Looking at the last bit of blood, Long Fei hugged his fists and laughed. Snake girl, explode for me. Ding. Chapter 48_8419/2356699. The last drop of blood. The last drop of blood. The final punch. Striking energy value. Release. Long Fei's idea touched her striking energy value. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Woman of the Devil Snake for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake's eye. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake Blood Vein. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the holy artifact, Snake Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake Core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the secret skill, Poison Casting Technique. Do you wish to learn it? A series of explosions sounded out. Long Fei was beyond excited. Ha ha ha. Devil Snake's eye. Is that it? Is that it? Can you petrify eyes? At this moment, Long Fei was incomparably excited because these eyes might be the snake girl's eyes, which were also Medusa's eyes. Long Fei could not wait any longer, so he opened the system to take a look. Item: Devil Snake's Eye Grade. Divine Level Description 1. Only the demons confuse them. Description 2. Possessing the power of petrification of death. Once released, the opponent will be petrified. The higher the level of the opponent, the shorter the petrification time. Description 3. Can only be used once a day. Description 4. Upgradable. As expected. As expected. It really is the eyes of the lamia's move. It's just that it's not as strong as the Lamia's skill. Eye of the demon snake. Hee hee. It's too exciting. Long Fei moved his body and said, "Merge." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully fusing with Devil Snake's eye. The reward is 100 experience points, 100 true chi, and 100 points. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes gained an additional strand of power, a strange aura of power, and also the kind that belonged to the life and death of Equinox Flower. It was very special, wonderful. It caused Long Fei to be incomparably excited. Now that you have those eyes again, I'll use my ultimate move. Ha! The fear of being controlled by the Lamia in Long Fei's heart also completely disappeared. Even the fear from his previous life had disappeared. At the same time, Long Fei continued to check the properties of the item. However, Yen Huang Ancestor chewed on the all-snake sword. He looked at Long Fei with disdain and said, "You've said it before. Give me everything that comes out to eat." "What are you looking at? Isn't it just a bunch of holy artifact? What's so great about that?" "Huh. If you don't pick so many Equinox Flower and you get a bunch of them, I won't be able to hold back from getting angry and looking down on you," Yen Huang Ancestor said, angrily. Long Fei scratched his head and said, "Eat slowly." Ding. The devil's snake blood vein was swallowed by the dragon's salure. Long Fei was speechless and muttered, "What kind of people are beside me? The divine beast wants to eat, the ancestor wants to eat, the devil box wants to eat, and even a blade is eating. Are you trying to eat me to death?" Long Fei wanted to cry, but no tears came out. "Is it easy for me to kill a boss? Can you think of something for me? Even if you want to eat it, you have to show me the properties of the food." Long Fei started to complain. The only thing that remained of the items that he had just dropped was the devil snake inner pellet and the secret skill Poison Codex. Long Fei took a look, and then, carefully, as if afraid that the patriarch would eat his food again, he said softly, "Cultivate." Ding. Congratulations, player Long Fei, for training the secret skill Poison Codex to obtain 100 experience points, true chi 100 points, and the reward is 100 points. Secret skill, Poison Proficiency, cooldown, rank, Heaven Stage Level 8 description. Releasing this secret skill will cause continuous damage to the target. Description 2. Requires poison, can be refined by oneself. Ha ha! Long Fei laughed shamelessly. He knew a thing or two about poison-using techniques. That was a must for priests, Taoists. "I can't kill you? It doesn't matter. I'll poison you to death. If 1 hour doesn't work, then I'll do it for 10 hours. I don't believe you won't die. The best skill to play tricks." Moreover, Long Fei already had the poison, and the inner pellet of a Een snake was the best poison. This skill is awesome. At this moment, seeing that their boss Lamia had been killed, the few snakes that were still alive in the ravine scattered in all directions, but Long Fei did not stop. The ice and fire had also awoken at this moment. "Kill them all. Even one of them will be spared." Long Fei shouted loudly. "These are all experience." To be able to level up in just a few hours, the experience points were simply too great. Yen Huang Ancestor disdainfully said, "Brat, feel free to remove the poison from your body. You don't even know where you got your modesty from, even if you get poisoned to death later on." "Air." Long Fei reacted, his eyes shining like stars as he became drowsy. He didn't know if he would say it or not. What he said. Long Fei reacted. The poison was attacking his heart. Long Fei immediately asked, "Ancestor, how do we cure the poison?" "The Equinox Flower." Yen Huang Ancestor replied in annoyance. The Equinox Flower was the pain in his heart. Long Fei immediately took out the Equinox Flower. It was just one stalk anyway, so it should be fine to bite a little. Xietqin only needed a little. And then Long Fei bit a flower petal as he lightly chewed on it. And then the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at War Elder level 4. It was also at this moment all the poison in Long Fei's body had been dispelled and was completely unharmed. His head was no longer spinning. His eyes widened. He was now clear-headed. However, Long Fei was dumbstruck. He could clearly hear the notification sound just now, and his power had increased by a lot. He had leveled up. After biting a little equinox flower, he leveled up. What's going on? Long Fei took another bite. Ding! Items that have been used before are ineffective. Another mouthful. Ding! Items that have been used before are ineffective. Immediately, Long Fei was completely dumbstruck. A equinox flower leveled up one level. Long Fei crazily rushed towards the ravine. Then, the entire wall of equinox flower had no seedlings left. I want to die. I want to die. I really want to die. Patriarch, why didn't you say anything? Why? Yen Huang Ancestor glanced sideways at Long Fei and just stared at him without saying a word. 1 flower for 1 flower, 10 flowers for 10 levels, 100 flowers. What am I waiting for? I can turn over the heavenly sect in a few minutes, and Hong Tianjun can kneel in front of me and sing Conquer in a few minutes. Long Fei was incomparably bitter. A max level chance was in front of him, but he personally destroyed. How painful it was, just as Long Fei was struggling. Floating life, table of contents, no windows, A++ at the entrance of the valley. A thunderous sound of energy colliding could be heard. A mournful voice sounded out. Sect Master Long Fei, please save us, evil girl saints, and the 7 sect masters of the demon sect. He's charging in. Chapter 5, Table of Contents, 8_8419/2356700. There was once a sincere love in front of me. That's not right. There was once a sincere love in front of me. That's not right. I once had a chance to instantly max out my level in front of me. I didn't cherish it well until I lost it. Only then did I wake up to reality. If I was given another chance, I will definitely fly straight towards the War King. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly said, "What a painful realization." This kind of pain could only be felt when one had lived through it. It wasn't tearing one's heart out or living through it, but rather, he wanted to die. "Master, I've finished clearing the gully." "Master, this place has been cleaned up." Xiao Bai and Bing landed on the left and right side of Long Fei. Looking at Long Fei's painful expression, Xiao Bai could not help but ask, "Master, are you injured?" Long Fei shook his head and did not say a word. When Bing saw the withered equinox flower on the wall behind him, she was somewhat startled. Furthermore, she was somewhat angry. "Xiao Bai, how did you destroy all of the equinox flower?" Legend has it that it has the power to revive the dead. This is a supreme Yin treasure. I have seen it in the Dragon Clan's treasure scrolls. A rare treasure that blossoms for 1,000 years. Ugh. Long Fei's body sank. Ice and Fire immediately stopped and asked, "Master, what's wrong?" Long Fei slightly said, "My liver hurts." "Liver pain again." Bing said, "The equinox flower should be able to cure your liver pain, but it's all gone." Ugh. Long Fei's body arched upwards once again. Xiao Bai asked with concern, "Master, could you have been poisoned?" "This kind of Yin snake poison is useless to me, but to you." Xiao Bai had eaten spirit fruit of heaven and earth before. So this kind of snake poison was completely useless against him. Long Fei waved his hand and said, I just feel an excruciating pain in my liver. Ice and fire, don't continue speaking. Binghua said, oh, and then looked towards the deep ravine and the thick stone door. The area around the stone door was filled with the thickest Yin aura in the entire valley. She asked, Master, are we going down? Xiao Bai also stared at the deep ravine, his eyes cold as he said, Ice and fire, didn't you say that equinox flower were linked to the yin-yang twin realms? Could it be held beneath this stone door? What a dense, cold aura of death. Long Fei also felt it. Now that the equinox flower and the sound yuan demon grass had been found, a day had passed. Saving Xieqin was more important. Immediately, Long Fei said, I'll go out of the forbidden grounds first. I'll come next time. Long Fei took a step and flew out of the ravine and looked behind him at the door in the ravine that led downwards. And it was an incomparably enchanting illusion of an equinox flower in full bloom. The face was smiling at him. The smile was very strange, causing one to shudder in fear. Long Fei thought, there won't be any more equinox flower down there, right? When the time comes, I must take a look. Inside the 10,000 Yin Forbidden Land, evil girl saints Qiu Wantian, Yin Yu, and Qi Mei stepped into the 10,000 Yin Forbidden Grounds. They waited for a long time. Evil girl saints lost his patience. When she heard the loud rumbles coming from the forbidden area, she had made up her mind to enter. Then, it was a massacre of the injured disciples of the evil sound sect. The Yin Qi is so thick. This is the forbidden land of 10,000 Yin. This is the evil sound sect's #1 forbidden area, and also the evil sound sect's most precious place. Holy Maiden, what kind of treasure is this? That's right. Tell me about it. Evil girl saint's eyes turned cold as he said, I don't know either. Indeed, she also did not know that where the ancestors of the evil sound sect found this place, all the other evil sound sects that had been established here were only allowed to enter by the sect master. As for treasures, she only knew that the twisting sound poison was peerless, and only here could she find the antidote for it. As for the other treasures, she had never seen them before. It's been so long that brat Long Fei still hasn't come out. Could he have died inside? I think it's possible. The impact sound just now was very powerful. Who knows, maybe he's already dead. Regardless of whether he's dead or not, God's Devil Ancient Case is a sacred artifact of our 8 great demon sections. Even if he's dead, we must dig the God's Devil Ancient Case out of his body. The people from the 8 demon sects slowly pressed forward. Xieyan said, Sect Master will not die. Sect Master will definitely come to save us. Master, let's go back to the shore. Bringing an outsider into the 10,000 Yin Forbidden Land has already violated the sect's rules. If you continue to be so stubborn, then... Not waiting for her to finish, the space between evil girl saints' eyebrows tightened, and he raised his right hand. A stream of energy fell from the sky and fiercely slapped Xieyan's face. What the hell are you? You actually want to teach me a lesson? Blood trickled from the corner of Xieyan's mouth as his body fell to the ground. Many junior sister apprentices rushed forward and helped Xieyan up. Blood Refinement Sect Master, Yin, you smiled obscenely. Holy Maiden, why don't you give them all to me? I will definitely make them obediently listen to me. He only looked at Xieyan twice. He had to say it. The women of Evil Sound Sect were delicious. All of the female disciples trembled inwardly. Inyu's methods were too cruel. Evil Girl Saint sneered and said, Wait until I find that bastard Long Fei. You can play with these female disciples however you want, and play with them however you want. I will definitely not interfere. She already hated him to the extreme. Xie Yun and the other disciples had all died in their hearts against the evil girl saints. Ha ha! The words of the holy maiden are enough. A lewd smile surfaced on Enu's face as he looked around and said, "Little beauty, I will treat you nicely later." Ha ha! The other sect leaders also laughed out loud. All along the way, corpses were strewn about the 10,000 forbidden land. The female disciples who hid in the forbidden area died miserable deaths. The majority of them were killed by the evil girl saints' demonic zither. Extremely vicious, evil girl saints asked coldly, "Xie Yun, didn't you say that Long Fei wouldn't die? Then where is he now? You bastards follow a dog. Humph, does it feel good now? Call the dog out to save you." This was what she hated the most. While the martial arts arena Xie Yun and many disciples were defending Long Fei, the anger in her heart was raging to the heavens. However, after dozens of years of being taught by the sect master, she was not as good as Long Fei, the sect master of half a day. She hated him to the extreme. Therefore, she wanted to kill him. Xie Yun's forehead turned sinister as he said, "Old Granny, Long Fei will definitely kill you. Do you know why we supported him? Because he was willing to fight against the entire world for a single disciple. Can you? In all these years, have you ever counted how many disciples have died from your sonic bending poison? I have counted a total of 637 people, including my own sister. This is the result of your unpopularity. Baidu search, half afloat. So what if you kill me today? So what if they kill us all? In our hearts, you are just a vile, pathetic old woman." Whether or not Long Fei was alive, whether or not he could save them, Xie Yun had to say it. The words "old granny" caused the evil girl saints to seethe with anger, and with a turn of his body, the demon zither shot out, landing beside Xie Yun. "You're courting death." Chapter 1. Thank you, Lin Yusheng, for your support of over 700 monthly tickets. The sea will definitely remember the supporting roles of the 8 Great King Kong. Thank you, 8_8419/2356701. The zither string was only a few centimeters away from Xie Yun's neck. As long as evil girl saints let go, her head would be chopped off. The zither string was only a few centimeters away from Xie Yun's neck. As long as evil girl saints let go, her head would be chopped off. At this moment, evil girl saints suddenly stopped and slightly said, "Beg me, kneel down and beg me. Didn't you always kneel in front of me like a dog? Beg me, ha ha ha." Perverted psychology, twisted psychology. Xie Yun looked at the zither string, his gaze lifted, and said word by word, "Old demoness, old demoness, old demoness, you, this ugly, twisted old demoness." He immediately closed his eyes and shouted the last sentence. She knew she was going to die soon. However, she still wanted to say what she had wanted to say the most in her life. If she did not say it now, she was afraid that she would not have the chance to say it. It was also at this moment. Evil girl Saints' eyes spewed fire like a crazy old witch. He roared, "Go and die." "No, no. Sect leader Long Fei, please save us. Save me, eldest senior sister." Ah. The female disciples behind him were so scared that they started crying. Tears started pouring out of their eyes as they cried to the point that their hearts and lungs were splitting apart. Xie Yun was their pillar of support, and Xie Yun was also their big sister as well. She was their big sister who genuinely cared and protected them, and they did not want to see Xie Yun die. The evil girl, Saint sinisterly said, "No one can save you in this world, so it's even more impossible for that Long Fei bastard. Die." As his fingers tugged on the strings, he suddenly moved. Just as her fingers were about to move, a demonic sound rang out, "F***CK, your 8 ancestors." three-rate peerless technique. Boom! The demonic shadows were like blood, dispersing throughout the entire 10,000 een valley. And then Long Fei lowered his voice and said faintly, "Demon snakes, release for me." Shwa! Long Fei's eyes suddenly changed into a snake's eye, its snake eyes releasing a strange light ray that shone onto Evil Girl Saints' body. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Evil Girl Saints' entire body was slowly petrifying. But the system sounded out. My base level is too high, causing the petrification effect. For half a second. Level 7 War Emperor. Long Fei was only at the 4th level of War Elder. The difference was more than 20 levels. The difference was too big. He was unable to cause a petrification effect for too long. However, half a second was enough. Buzz. Evil Girl Saints was completely petrified. Long Fei's phantom shadow fell. 3-blade stream demon. Husho. Shwa. He directly sent Evil Girl Saints flying into the air. Recover. Shwa. Dragon chop. Swish. Long Fei took a step forward. 460 slashes. The dragon salyer was as fast as lightning as it madly killed its way out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Swish, swish, swish. The Evil Girl Saints in the air did not stop to kill. The blood on top of her head also rapidly decreased, but these two moves were not enough to kill the Evil Girl Saints. 460 slashes. Boom. The dragon salyer fiercely hacked down, like a battle axe smashing down towards Evil Girl Saints. The ground cracked, and the entire valley trembled. Evil Girl Saints' face was pale. Flames spouted out of his eyes. Dog. However, after Long Fei smashed her down to the ground, her figure also disappeared. Actually, Long Fei landed on the ground before Evil Girl Saints, and the moment Evil Girl Saints landed, his fists fiercely shook and smashed into the ground. Splitting fist. Boom. The ground shook, and the strong force suddenly shot out, sending the Evil Girl Saints flying into the air. Long Fei had already spread out her limbs and was sprawled on the ground. The moment she was sent flying, both of her legs pushed up, and she said solemnly, "Toting skill." Bam! His body shot out like a cannonball. It struck the Evil Girl Saints' abdomen, releasing the power of strangling. A grand execution. In the air, Long Fei leaped up to Evil Girl Saints' head and hugged his fists. Roar! The image of the large power King Kong ape's rage superimposed onto his body. Next, Long Fei roared. Mountain hit fist. Both fists were like axes as they heavily smashed into Evil Girl Saints' head. Boom! Blood spurted out from the top of Evil Girl Saints' head as his body shot towards the ground like a bullet, wailing in pain. However, Long Fei still did not give her any time to react, because he couldn't give her any time, or else the explosion of level 7 War Emperor's strength was something he couldn't withstand right now. He could only take advantage of his illness and take his life. Long Fei roared. Ice and fire. Roar. Ice and fire flew out from the Warpet space, roaring loudly and fiercely. Understood. Master, the target has been locked on. Time was now a new day, and his energy had been replenished. Long Fei leaped up, landing on the dragon's back, and said, "Kill her! Ice and fire 9 heavens. First stage, burning ice. Second stage, ice and fire thunderbolt. Rumble, rumble." The two forces were like 2 bolts of lightning that struck down heavily, causing critical damage immediately as millions of damage floated up above Evil Girl Saints' head. However, Evil Girl Saints was a level 7 War Emperor. Her HP had already reached over 10 million. This was not enough. Boom. The sky suddenly shook. Xiaobai also burst out with a shot. Wolf God Spear. Shwa! A lance pierced through the heavens like a ray of laser light. Boom! He nailed evil girl Saints into the deep pit, causing another critical hit. Long Fei jumped down from the dragon's back, heavily landing beside evil girl Saints. He then stepped on her head, which was covered in hair. Anger! Incomparable rage. He did not expect it to turn out like this. At the same time, Long Fei was extremely arrogant. The domineering aura on his body was like a steaming flame, crazily burning. At his roar, the entire forbidden land of 10,000 Een fell silent. Everyone stared at him with their mouths wide open. Everyone had the same question in their minds. Is he human? Is he even King human? If the 3 slaps in the Soundtrap Cave was said to be successful because the evil girl Saints did not know that the Soundtrap formation had been broken, then Long Fei's sneak attack had been successful. However, and now, a sneak attack now? No, right now, he was being crushed by skills. Long Fei had hit evil girl Saints so hard that he did not even have the slightest leeway to counterattack. More importantly, the first thing Long Fei did was to release his power. The 7 sect leaders felt a chill in their hearts. What kind of power was that? Petrification? Blood spurted out from the corner of evil girl Saints' mouth as he stared at Long Fei with his sinister eyes. He laughed sinisterly. Long Fei, are you satisfied? It's all because of you that evil sound sect has become like this. There are less than 3,000 disciples and less than 300 left. Long Fei, are you satisfied? Ha ha ha. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, his eyes bloodshot. The divine power in his right arm suddenly exploded, and he roared, I am very unhappy. Boom. Chapter 28_8419/2356702. Very unhappy. Very unhappy. Long Fei was extremely unhappy. Thus, kill. The god power on Long Fei's right arm exploded out. His fist struck down, striking evil girl Saints' head. Bam! The last bit of blood on the top of evil girl Saints' head drained. It was also at this moment. Headshot! Long Fei pulled out his fist that was dripping blood and brain matter and asked coldly, Now, are you satisfied? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing evil girl Saints for gaining an experience point, true chi point, energy values point, and points 100. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Profound Sky Zither. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the secret skill, Poison Refinement Technique. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining Sky Sound Break for his cultivation. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Stone, 2908. A wave of system beepers sounded out. Long Fei didn't care about what had exploded as he walked out of the deep pit step by step. The moment he walked out of the pit, he glared at the 7 sect masters who had been stunned into silence and said with a heavy tone and sinister look, Next! Terrifying. Long Fei was not a devil body right now, but the aura being emitted from his body was even more terrifying than devil energy. Evil girl Saints was killed. Furthermore, the power Long Fei had released just now was simply too much, causing their hearts to tremble. Just what kind of power was it? A 4th level War Elder cultivation. 1 day ago, Long Fei was still at the level 2 War Elder, but he is now at the 4th level of the War Elder. Abnormal. Monster. At the same time, the 7 of them all had the same thought in their minds. We can't let this kid stay alive. Letting Long Fei live was only a disaster. Right at this moment, Long Fei was furious. He roared, I say, who's next? The sound was like a loud bell exploding in the valley. The 7 sect masters' bodies faintly trembled, and the killing intent that had originally surged out was also instantly crushed. The current Long Fei was simply invincible. Even they were afraid. Chiu Wantian slightly smiled and said, "Sect Master Long, don't be angry. We don't want anything to happen to you." Right. We don't want anything to happen. The god's devil ancient case is yours. Take it. We are only there to accompany old demoness Xie. She was the one who killed all these disciples. It was also at this time. Yin Yu, the sect master of the blood refinement sect, could not take it. When others killed, he was the only one who brutally insulted the female disciples. Then, whoosh, he turned into a ball of bloody light and rushed out of the forbidden land of 10,000 yin. And then, Chiu Wantian also quickly retreated. He left. The remaining 5 sect heads also ran, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. The female disciples in the 10,000 yin forbidden land were indeed killed by the holy maiden Xie alone, and the female disciples of the evil sound sect, if they continued to linger here, Long Fei would get even angrier, and some of them would definitely die. Actually, they were all suppressed by Long Fei's aura. Fear grew in their hearts. That was why they were afraid, why they were scared. Any one of them could easily crush Long Fei, but because of the blood refinement sect's escape, they completely gave up on trying to deal with Long Fei and frantically escaped. "Sovereign, we can't let them go." Xie Yun was the first to react. Just now, her life was hanging by a thread, but now that she looked at evil girl saints dying in the deep pit with her eyes open, and then at Long Fei's back, her heart immediately became excited. It was also at this time. Huff! Long Fei's body slightly sank, and his face became pale. So uncomfortable. Long Fei's heart sank. The aura on his body, the incomparable aura that was being released, was actually caused by him burning true qi. Out of the more than 400,000 true qi-s, only their 100,000 points did not reach that level. The burning of the true qi. What was burning was not only true qi, but also mental energy. The moment he saw the 7 devil sect disciples fly away, Long Fei's state of mind relaxed as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Turning around to look at the remaining 200 or so female disciples, Long Fei felt guilty in his heart as he apologized and bowed. "I'm sorry. I've harmed the both of you." The sect had bowed in apology. The expressions of all the female disciples of evil sound sect changed. This had never happened before. It was also at this time. Xie Yun abruptly kneeled on the ground and said in a heavy voice, "Sect Master, I did not listen to your orders. Punish us." Whoosh whoosh, asterisk, everyone fell to their knees. When they were an evil sound sect, they were a little unwilling because Long Fei was just a level 2 war elder and was even a man. Now, their eyes were all filled with respect and worship. Truly see Long Fei in front of their sect master. Moreover, a grand master who could bow in apology. This kind of grand master was rare and must be cherished. They sincerely submitted. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player. Long Fei, for completing 1/8 of the mission, has submitted. Huh! Long Fei's brows tightened as he laughed bitterly in his heart. If we have to pay this kind of price to submit to us, if thousands of young ladies of different seasons are going to die like this, I'm willing to not accept this mission. He truly felt displeased in his heart. Long Fei stepped forward and helped Xie Yun and the others up, saying, "From today onwards, I will definitely not let this kind of thing happen again." "Right. Where's Xie Qin?" Xie Qin said in a low voice, "Sect Master, I am here." Xie Qin was in the middle of the crowd, and everyone was surrounding her tightly because she was someone Long Fei wanted to protect. Long Fei's heart was filled with gratitude. Seeing Xie Qin's pale face, his heart ached, and he immediately took out the magic panacea furnace to refine the antidote for the twisting sound poison. Wait a moment. Just a moment. Just for a moment. Xie Qin looked at Long Fei quietly, a happy smile blossoming on his face as he muttered, "Meeting you is the luckiest thing that I have ever done in my life." "Long Fei, thank you." Elder sister is satisfied. Slowly, her voice trailed off, then faded, then disappeared. The last trace of blood on his face had also disappeared. Long Fei's heart was killing him. Tears welled up from his eyes. He continued to control the pill furnace and continued to say, "Sis, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll definitely save you. I'll definitely save you. I promise." Ah! The magic panacea furnace exploded. Ding! Refinery failure. Long Fei immediately scolded angrily. "Long Fei, you are really useless." Again. And then Long Fei quickly began to refine again, but he was still talking nonstop. "Sis, I will definitely save you. It's going to be ready soon. The antidote is going to be ready soon." Bam! Floating life. Table of contents. No windows. A plus plus. The furnace exploded again. Another failure. Long Fei's heart was in a mess. He was in a state that was simply unsuitable for alchemy. Sect Master. Senior Sister Xie Qin is dead. Chapter 38_8419/2356703. Long Fei acted as if he hadn't heard anything. Long Fei acted as if he hadn't heard anything. He was still refining. Failure. Another failure. He was like a madman. The true chi flames that burst out from his palm enveloping the entire magic panacea furnace. He was furious. Xie Qin was incomparably furious. If he had come out earlier, Xie Qin would not have died. If he was a little stronger, Xie Qin would not have died. If he had killed the evil girl saints from the very beginning, Xie Qin would not have died. Everything. It was all because he was still too weak. Xie Qin tried to protect him with his life several times, but he couldn't do anything now. An incomparable discomfort. Xia Yun knelt in front of Long Fei and said, "Sect Master, Junior Sister Apprentice Xie Qin." This was the first time she saw Xie Qin smile. So happily. And it was all because of this man before her. This was the first time she had seen Long Fei do this. For a disciple. Was there still such a good man in the world? Long Fei shook his head and said, "I was the one who let her down. I was useless. I could not save her. He threw his head back and shouted angrily, "Why?" At the same time, Long Fei's heart stirred as he asked, "Ancestor, do you have a way? You must have a way. You are the ruler of Yen Huang Ancestor. You must have a way, right?" Yen Huang Ancestor shook his head. "The twisting sound poison has already penetrated deep into my bone marrow. She has already dragged it out for 3 days. And when the poison enters my heart, even the Delu Golden Immortal would not be able to do anything." If he was dead, he was dead. Even if he was a Yen Huang Ancestor, there was nothing he could do. Long Fei fell to the ground and looked at the silent Xie Qin. Long Fei's heart felt like it had been thrown into a meat grinder. Suddenly, Yen Huang Ancestor seemed to have thought of something and said, "Long Fei, death is merely the separation of the soul and spirit. If you can retrieve her soul and spirit, I have a way to revive her." At first, he didn't think of it. Now, Yen Huang Ancestor thought. Long Fei's expression tensed up and immediately asked, "How do I find them?" Yen Huang Ancestor replied, "Enter the underworld." "Enter the underworld." Long Fei became suspicious and asked, "How do I enter? Am I going to die too? If that's all right, I have no problem." Xie Qin was his savior and was willing to pay any price. Yen Huang Ancestor smiled faintly and said, "You don't have to die. Have you forgotten about Dark Canyon?" What is a dark crow king? It could evolve into a 9 secret underworld finches after another stage. To be able to enter the underworld. Long Fei's eyes became cold. We will go to Dark Canyon now. No rush, Yen Huang ancestor said indifferently. You are still at the 4th level of the War Elder. Your cultivation is still a little weak. If you want to conquer the Raven King, your cultivation must reach the War Master Ream. Moreover, we can't be sure that Crow King has already evolved into a 9 secret underworld finches, so the most important thing for you to do now is to break through the War Master Ream. Break through the War Master Ream? Still 6 levels away. Long Fei thought. Based on my experience required to level up now, I would probably need 5 or 600 million experience points. I'm afraid that in terms of time, he now had almost 100 million experience points. Even if he continued killing monsters day and night to level up, he would need quite a bit of time. He could fight. But what about Xie body? Long Fei asked. Breaking through the War Master will take some time. What about Xie body? Ancestor, do you have a way to protect her body from rotting? The Yen Huang ancestor disdainfully said. You have your own treasure that you don't know how to use. The God's Devil ancient case is able to prevent anything in the world from rotting, not rotting, and there's also the effect of beauty. If you can find all of Xie 3 souls and 7 souls, then she will definitely be even more beautiful than she is right now. Air. Long Fei trembled. God's Devil ancient case. And then Long Fei stood up, walked to Xie side, and said lightly, Sis, I swore to save you. I, Long Fei, will definitely do it. Even if you die now, I will save you. The faces of all the surrounding female disciples changed. What was going on? How could she save him now that he was dead? Xie Yin wanted to say something, but hesitated. Long Fei looked at her and said with a bland smile, Don't worry, I haven't become crazy. While they were talking, Long Fei's palm moved. God's Devil ancient case, take it out for me. Whoosh! Swallow! The God's Devil ancient case arrived beside Xie corpse and covered it in demonic energy, directly sucking Xie into the magic box and soaking him in the 10,000 Devil Lake. Long Fei once again withdrew the God's Devil ancient case and said faintly, We will meet the Evil Sound sect. 10 minutes later, 7 great devil sects. I will definitely screw you over. Evil Sound sect rivers of blood flowed, and each and every one of them died a miserable death. The anger in Long Fei's heart spewed. Spew, spew again. At this moment, Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and said, What bullsh T mission is this demon sovereign? I don't care. What reward? I don't care. The anger in Long Fei's heart had already reached a high point. When he walked into the hidden sound pavilion, he saw a dozen disciples wearing tattered clothes, revealing their snow-white bodies. The ground was covered with blood. A lady's body was curled up. She was leaning against the corner. Her hands were tightly hugging her knees. Her body was trembling uncontrollably. Her lips were white. Her eyes were staring straight at Long Fei as she spoke incessantly. Don't come over, don't come over, don't come over here. His eyes were filled with fear. Long Fei looked at her fearful eyes, and his heart seemed as if it was about to tear apart. The Blood Refinement Sect. Inu. Wait for Lousy. Boom. Long Fei walked out violently, looked at Xie Yun, who was at the door, and said solemnly, From today onwards, all of you will enter the 10,000 Een forbidden land to cultivate, whereas the spirit energy, the Een energy, is only suitable for females to cultivate. Xie Yun asked, Sect Master, where are you going? Me. Long Fei grinned coldly and said, I'm going to break through the War Master Ream. I didn't know where to level up in the past. Now I know. And then Long Fei continued. When I was not around, you were evil sound sex sect master. Xie Yin still wanted to say something, but Long Fei had already dashed out, as if he was a madman. He was furious. He could not bear to watch any longer. He couldn't tolerate it for even a moment. He wasn't a beast at all. He couldn't even be compared to the vicious methods of the blood refinement sect master. Provoke me? Then you will have to pay the price. Long Fei's heart blazed with anger. As he boiled and raged in his heart, the blood refinement sect, your father is here. The mission of being the supreme of the demon race was to subdue the 8 great demon sections. Now, Long Fei did not care about this bullshit mission from the start. He only thought of one thing, the 7 great demon sects, one by one, wanting to screw with him. Huff, old bastard, things went beyond our expectations. What should we do? Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. Isn't it too cruel of us to do this? The young lord has endured too much. There's no other way. He is the supreme demon king. There are some things he must bear. What do we do now? To the blood refinement sect. Chapter 48_8419/2356704. The blood refinement sect, one of the 8 great demon sections. The blood refinement sect, one of the 8 great demon sections. Sect Master Inu, Level 7 War Emperor Cultivation. The blood refinement sect was the cruelest sect among the 8 great demon sections. They would search everywhere for beautiful women to refine into blood corpse, control them, and then allow them to indulge themselves. It was the same for the sect master and the other sect disciples. The blood refinement mountain. On a blood-red mountain peak, Inu sat on the sect master's chair, the corners of his mouth carrying a lewd smile, his mind still replaying the scenes from the evil sound sect, occasionally revealing a lewd smile. An elder asked, "Sect leader, did you find the god's devil ancient case this time?" "Huh." Inu's brows shook and said, "I'm afraid that the god's devil ancient case cannot be obtained. I don't know what kind of power that Long Fei bastard cultivated. A mere war elder realm is actually able to kill that old lady from Evil Girl Saints." Thinking about the scene of Evil Girl Saints being crushed by Long Fei, his heart couldn't help but turn cold. There was no chance of resisting at all. If it was him, if I were to return to the blood refining sect now, not to mention Long Fei, even Xiu Wantian, who is at the peak of the level 7 War Emperor, would not be able to harm me in the slightest. Humph! If he dares to come, then don't even think about going back. At this moment, behind his seat, there was a huge jar. The blood in the jar was boiling, and a pair of green eyes that seemed like will-o-wisp flames were revealed. Inu gently caressed the eye with his right hand and said slightly, "Blood King, don't be anxious. As long as that kid dares to come here, I'll definitely let you eat your fill." Ha ha! When that elder saw that green eye, he could not help but take half a step back, his body faintly trembling. It was the Blood King, the King of Blood Corpse S. It had been raised by Inu for more than 50 years and had been raised using his child's blood. It was also Inu's biggest killing move. When he returned to the blood refinement sect, he wasn't afraid at all. As he leaned back in his chair, he thought about the female disciples of the evil sound sect once more. His face was filled with lust. These are all top quality goods. Ha! One day later, under the blood refinement sect, a figure with a dragon sallier on his right hand, his body burning with flames of fury as he watched the peak of the blood refinement mountain rising into the clouds. Long Fei's voice sunk as he poured the true chi in and roared, "Inu, get the hell out here! Rumble! Rumble!" His voice contained the power of the heavenly note break, directly enveloping the entire blood refinement sect. In the main hall, Yu was sleeping soundly. His eyes suddenly opened, his body trembled. He almost fell down from his chair and shouted, "What is that sound? What is that sound?" A disciple hurriedly walked into the hall and reporting to Sect Master, "It is the voice of a youth who is not even 20 years of age." Yu's mind tensed up, and he asked, "A youth not even 20 years old? What are the characteristics?" Characteristics. The characteristic is that in his hands, he seems to be holding the Fire Glass City's heirloom knife, the Dragon Salyer. Yu's eyes turned sinister as he said, "Long Fei, you dog, I didn't expect you to be here. Good, good, good. There's a path to heaven that you're not going to take. There's no path to hell, and you'll have it yourself. You delivered this to me just in time. You gave me your God's devil ancient case." Yu laughed madly before snorting coldly, "Pass down my order, kill." "Yes, sir." At the mountain gate, a dozen or so mountain guarding disciples rushed down with murderous intent in their eyes. Where did this bastard come from? How dare you behave so atrociously in my blood refinement sect? You're looking to die, right? Why don't you take a look at this place? Is this a place where a dog like you can behave atrociously? Why are you wasting time with him? Kill them all. While they were talking, Long Fei's figure moved. Before they could finish speaking, Long Fei had already landed behind them and coldly spat out, "Explode." Boom, 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 boom. The bodies of a dozen or so blood refinement sect disciples exploded into a cloud of bloody mist. A drop of blood on the Dragon Salyer's tip fell. Long Fei's voice was as cold as ice. "All of you, die." Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing blood refinement sect's minion Luo. Rewards: 300 experience points, 200 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing blood refinement sect's minion Luo. Rewards: 45 experience points, 36 true chi points, 10 energy values points, 10 points. The system's voice rang out. Experience: true chi. Points up. These were merely minions guarding the sect gate. They had low cultivation bases and low experience. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, looked at the three big words blood refining sect on the mountain gate, and his mouth turned cold as he said faintly, "Today I will overturn you." At this moment, another 2 mountain guarding disciples rushed down. "You dare to behave so atrociously in the blood refinement sect. I think you must be tired of living, not waiting for him to finish." Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Second level without peer." Shwa. Teleport. Shwa. 2 rows of guards and 16 people were all cut in half at the waist. 16 system beep S rang out. Ding, ding, ding. Next, another large wave of people rushed down the mountain. The blood veins in Long Fei's eyes were like the blood veins of the heavenly demon eye of the infernal queen. The anger in his heart rose to 1,000 feet. "All of you must die. All of you must die." Long Fei was furious beyond compare. 1 step, 1 kill, 1 step, 1 death. Each time, he would use his full strength like a bullet striking a mosquito. He didn't give those lackeys any chance. They fought from morning until afternoon. Blood flowed like a spring from the stone steps. They had massacred the evil sound sect. Today, Long Fei also wanted to bathe and refine the blood sect. He wanted to slaughter the sect. He wanted the entire blood refinement sect dead. Because of anger. Within the blood refinement great hall, an elder stumbled into the hall and said anxiously, Sect Master, we can't stop them, we can't. That lad is like a god of death. killing every single person he meets with instantly. Just a moment ago, just now, even the second elder, who was at the first level of War Emperor, was killed. What should we do? Yu's eyes turned sinister. His right hand moved. Whoosh! A golden light shot out from the jar beside him. At this moment, the golden light directly bit off the elder's throat, and then the elder crawled his entire body in, frantically devouring and biting at it. Less than 3 seconds. The elder trembled in madness. His body shrunk until there was nothing left but a leather bag. Not a single drop of blood came out. Not even a scream of pain came out. Outside the palace, Long Fei crawled up like a man made of blood from a pool, his eyes completely red from killing. The dragon Salyer moved yet again, and with his shoulder facing the blood refinement hall, he roared angrily, "Inu, get the hell out here right now." Chapter 5. Once again, he thanked Lin Yusheng for his monthly tickets. "Brothers, if you have a monthly ticket, please give me your support. In addition, the train would have to go out to work tonight. Tomorrow's update might be in the afternoon or at night. 8_8419/2356705. Inu, get the hell out here. Inu, get the hell out here." His voice was deafening. In the plaza outside the blood refinement hall, those disciples were pushing the door back with fear on their faces. All of them were crushed by Long Fei's terrifying killing intent. Suddenly, several screams burst out from behind the group of disciples. A bunch of trash. For one of the 8 great demon sects of the blood refinement sect to be so frightened by a single person, are you still considered demons? His voice carried a harsh tone. Yu's gloomy voice came out from the hall. The king of blood corpse that was glowing with a green light was crazily devouring it. When it was bitten by the king of blood corpse, it would immediately drill into the body, and in less than 3 seconds, there would only be 1 sentence left. It was incomparably cruel. It's the king of blood corpse. It's the sect master's king of blood corpse. Terrified cries rang out. Yu's cold voice came again. "Whoever dares to take half a step back, I'll make the king of blood corpse eat him." Kill him. With regards to Long Fei, they were even more afraid of the king of blood corpse. Hundreds of disciples stopped retreating. An elder moved his sword, and a bloody mist burst out from his body. He then shouted with a deep voice, "Disciples of the Hall of Blood, listen up. Follow me and kill my way out. Kill." Dozens of disciples rushed up together, covering the sky, the ground, front, back, left, and right. Long Fei's eyes darkened, looking at the people rushing towards him from all directions. Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and his body suddenly exploded. 3-rate peerless technique. Boom. His body sank slightly. Moonlit step. Shwa. He rushed up to the sky and pulled down the dragon Salyer on his shoulder. Hurricane cut. True chi gushed in. The sword chi on the dragon Salyer started to wreak havoc. The blood-colored sword chi hacked out, and with a roll, it shot out like a tornado. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for comprehending Tornado Strike. Long Fei was secretly surprised. Comprehending skills in battle? I am a genius. Shwa. The saber chi turned into a hurricane, crazily sweeping up the 8 elements. The blood refinement sect disciples that charged forward were all sucked into the vortex by the saber chi tornado. At this moment, Long Fei's figure disappeared. Tornado strike. In the midst of the hurricane, a figure appeared in the eyes of the wind. The dragon Salyer on Long Fei's right hand and the god's devil blade on his left. As soon as he finished, his body suddenly twisted. Like the wings of a helicopter, he began to frantically spin. 1 black, One red berserk blade, cut out like lightning. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, the huge sword Chi was harvesting crazily. The tornado turned into a bloody tornado. Broken limbs flew everywhere, and heads flew everywhere. Ding, ding, ding. The system's notification sound rang out, and the tornado was moving. The disciples who did not rush up to the tornado were killed instantly. Ah! Save me! Sect Master, save us! Grand Elder, save us! The hundreds of blood refinement sect disciples in the plaza were all swept away by the tornado. Long Fei slashed his sabers madly, as if his death god was dancing in the midst of a tornado. He was so handsome that it was a complete mess. All of you must die. E'en you, the next one will be you. Long Fei's voice came out from the tornado, and then a bloodied figure flew out from the hurricane. His entire body dyed red with blood. Two wild blades, one on the left and one on the right, stood at the entrance of the blood refinement hall. Long Fei was in a complete mess. The moment he rushed out of the hurricane, the tornado was still wreaking havoc. Buzz, rumble. With a burst of strength, the tornado suddenly stopped, and the blood that filled the sky dispersed. It was like a torrential rain pouring down from the sky. The roof of the blood refinement hall was filled with clattering sounds. Blood dripped from the eaves and seeped into the hall. The entire blood refinement hall was dripping with blood. Head, broken limbs, bones, everything flew into the air. At this moment, the blood refinement sect was like hell on earth. What was called a bloodbath? This was a bloodbath. Too arrogant. However, the anger in Long Fei's heart did not decrease by even a little. It continued to inflate, and stared at Inu, who was in the great hall sneering at him, and said solemnly, "You destroyed my evil sound sect disciple, so I will massacre your blood refining sect. Inu, now it's your turn." The blood refinement sect was completely silent. The smell of blood spread across the area. After killing for an entire day, right now there was only the sect leader of the blood refinement sect, Inu. Him, the chair in the sect master's position, was glowing with a golden light. There was no doubt that he was the leader of the group. Inu stared coldly at Long Fei, his gaze carrying killing intent, and said slightly, "Long Fei, your evil sound sect still have any female disciples, right? Don't worry. After I kill you, the evil sound sect will change its name to blood refining sect. I will make all of those beautiful female disciples become my corpse slaves." Wahaha! Long Fei moved. Just at that moment, Yen Huang Ancestor suddenly warned, "Be careful." Whoosh! A green light flashed, and the gigantic king of Blood Corpse shot towards him. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. King of Blood Corpse! With a move of his right arm, he channeled his divine power and put away the god's devil blade. Clang! The dragon salyer hacked down heavily. Long Fei's hands were shaken till they were numb. The web of his hands seemed to be torn apart. The pain was unbearable. And in the end, clang! The dragon salyer flew out of his hands. Long Fei staggered a few steps back. His face darkened, looked at the unharmed king of Blood Corpse, and asked, "Ancestor, what kind of king of Blood Corpse is this?" He had seen the king of Blood Corpse back in Zhou Town. However, the king of Blood Corpse in front of him was completely different. Even if it was a war master ranker, they would only be able to kill him with a single slash with their previous strength, but he couldn't break through the defense of these bugs. One strike, and it turned out to be a miss attack. A defense that not even the dragon salyer could break. Yen Huang Ancestor said slightly, "This is the ancestor of the blood insect. The one raising this place should be at least 50 years old." All of them were raised using the child's blood. All of these fellows are invulnerable and extremely valiant. Not waiting for him to finish, Inu laughed wildly and said, "Long Fei, you're very surprised, right? It's great, isn't it? Ha ha ha. Continue being arrogant. Continue being arrogant. Blood corpse, eat him." The space between Inu's eyebrows tightened. The blood corpse ancestor in the hall flew up once more. Long Fei took out his god's devil blade and hacked down. It was the mice attack again. He was sent flying out of his hand once again. There was no way to kill it. His defense was too strong. Long Fei asked, "Ancestor, is there no other way?" The old ancestor said, "If he wants to eat you, you can eat it. Use the God's Devil Ancient Case to swallow it." Chapter 18_8419/2356706. When Long Fei heard the words, "He wants to eat you, you just eat it," he was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his back. When Long Fei heard the words, "He wants to eat you, you just eat it," he was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his back. Such a big caterpillar, green, one big eye, ugly beyond compare, even darker than dark food, looked disgusting. You can eat. However, it was only after the ancestor said, "Swallow it with a God's Devil Ancient Case," that Long Fei finally relaxed a little and said, "Ancestor, can you finish speaking in one go? You scared me to death." The blood corpse ancestor in front of them could not be dealt with. His defense alone was something that Long Fei had no way of breaking through. Long Fei suddenly thought of the fact that within the God's Devil Ancient Case, there was still Xie Qin's flesh body. He could not help but worry as he thought to himself, "Ancestor, could Xie Qin's flesh body?" The ancestor said, "Don't worry. The space within the God's Devil Ancient Case is too big, and that caterpillar cannot find Xie Qin's flesh body in such a short period of time. You must kill Inu before he finds his flesh body." The blood corpse ancestor was raised by Inu. As long as its owner was killed, it would lose control and lose its target for a period of time. It was like a machine without electricity that had stopped working, Long Fei thought. Then what if we don't kill Inu within a certain period of time? The old patriarch said, "Then your sister's body is probably F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart. The Yen Huang ancestor said, "This is your only choice right now. If you can't kill Inu, just this bug will burn you to death." The ancestor sighed in his heart. If he recovered a little more, this kind of caterpillar, idea could turn it into dust. Long Fei's gaze tightened and said, "Understood. Then let's do it." Once he made up his mind, Long Fei would do it without hesitation. "Ha ha ha. Kid, aren't you arrogant? Continue being so arrogant. What are you hiding for? Those beautiful disciples of the evil sound sect are too awesome. All of them are virgins. That kind of feeling is too awesome. I can't wait to enjoy it again, right now. Ha ha." Inu laughed loudly. As long as he had this bug, he didn't have to worry. This bug was invincible. It was the crystal that he had raised for 58 years. He had constantly sent disciples down the mountain to find girls precisely for this blood corpse ancestor. The Nangong Yen that he had brought back the last time. What a pity. She had never come back. Otherwise, she would have become the blood corpse ancestor's food. Inu saw that Long Fei was continuously dodging and escaping, and he started to laugh out loud. "Long Fei, why don't you fight with it? Don't you like killing? Aren't you going to massacre my blood refinement sect? Continue." Ha ha ha. Long Fei's gaze locked onto the complacent Inu and said coldly, "Laugh, I will make you kneel on the ground, and cry later." The blood corpse ancestor flew up the mountain again. This time, it was even faster. Longface shouted in his heart, "Teleport!" Shwa! He immediately rushed into the main hall. The blood corpse ancestor turned, its speed not any weaker than Longfei's teleportation. It pounced forward, getting closer and closer to Longfei. Longfei was also getting closer and closer to Inu. Inu sat on the chair, without moving an inch. He was not flustered because it was impossible for Longfei to kill him. In another second, Longfei would be devoured by the blood corpse ancestor. Ha ha ha. Longfei, you want to kill me? You are still very young. Don't worry after you die. I will definitely take good care of those evil sound sect female disciples. Ha ha. Inu continued to be complacent. His eyes widened. The blood corpse ancestor had already fallen half an inch above Longfei's head. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Longfei was about to die. He became even more pleased with himself. At this moment, Longfei moved his left hand, God's Devil Ancient Case. Boom! The God's Devil Ancient Case flew out and landed on the top of Longfei's head. Just as it was about to bite a few of Longfei's heads, its body suddenly trembled. A group of demon aura shrouded him and devoured him. When Longfei summoned out his God's Devil Ancient Case, his speed did not decrease by even a little. With a grab of the air with his right hand, a burst of energy shot out, linked to Dragon Salyer S that had fallen to the side. Dragon Salyer! Whoosh! The Dragon Salyer flew out and landed on Longfei's right hand. Buzz! Longfei's body suddenly changed. Every single black head of his had turned blood red, as if they were burning, and the aura of the heavenly demon on his body rolled out. He clenched his fists. Three-rate peerless technique. Boom! As soon as he released his power, the blood dragon god on the Dragon Salyer in Longfei's hands roared out. The blood-red dragon god surged out, pouncing towards Inu. Inu was dazed. His mouth still continued to laugh maniacally, but the laughter was gone. His expression was still smug, and then it started to twist. No, blood corpse ancestor are invincible. The instant he saw the blood corpse ancestor be devoured by the God's Devil Ancient Case, his entire body became unwell. However, Longfei seized this opportunity. Magic chop! Boom! The power of a blood vein burst out. Titan blood vein! The shadow on Longfei's body turned into a divine sea titan, holding onto a giant anchor as it hacked down. Kneel down and chant conquer for this daddy. Bam! Inu was still in shock. He simply did not have time to react to Longfei's attack. The saber slashed down. Voila! A long gash appeared in his chest, and blood spurted out. The sect master's chair was also broken into pieces. Inu rolled down the steps from his position as sect master. His bun was scattered, and his clothes were torn. No, no! My king of blood corpse. Ah! Inu was instantly angered to the extreme as he crazily pounced at the God's Devil Ancient Case that was floating in midair. Longfei's figure moved. Secret technique. Sealing. Shwa. With the release of the seal, Inu's body stopped for 1/10 of a second. Teleport. Longfei's body turned and retracted his Dragon Salyer. Clenching both of his fists, he landed in front of Inu and heavily smashed into the wound on his chest. Bang, bang. Inu was sent flying. Moonlit step. Shwa. Without waiting for him to land, Longfei punched down at him from above. Rumble. The blood refinement hall shattered. Inu spat out a mouthful of blood and roared like a beast. You dog, I will kill you. Not waiting for him to finish, Longfei's fist landed on his mouth, and then on his body. Kill me? You don't King qualify for it. Heavenly note break. Riding on Inu's body, the pubes sank as the true chi combusted crazily. And then Long Fei bent his body and let out a violent sound wave attack at Inu. Roar. Inu's ears were bleeding. Equals half carat float hashtag. Hashtag life. Carat the demonic chi on Long Fei's body was extremely violent, with both fists that rained down on his body. Injure my female disciple? Destroy my evil sound sect. You bastard, explode. Chapter 2, he didn't sleep on the train the whole night and rushed out 2 chapters in the morning. Brothers, let's first satisfy our craving. We still have an update tonight. 8_8419/2356707. Boom. Boom. With a heavy punch, his health fell to 0. Inu was killed instantly. Die. In an instant, Long Fei said without hesitation, release your striking energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing. Inu for obtaining 10 experience points, true chi points, and energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining great blood refining art. You wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining blood corpse manipulation. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the purple blood divine robe. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Draw Slasher. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Stone, 3,089 points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Refinement Sect Master Inu for obtaining a reward of points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Elder level 5. A large wave of system beepes sounded out. All good stuff. Berserk was good. When Long Fei saw the items that dropped from the space ring, he became excited. He did not look at anything else and stared directly at the Draw Slasher. The name was too familiar. The weapon used by Nie Fong in the movie Wind Equals and Equals Cloud Equals. The Draw Slasher. Long Fei's heart was incomparably excited. He impatiently opened the system. Then his eyes darkened as he cursed in his heart, "Damn! What the hell is a mini version of the Draw Slasher doing? System, what the F***K? Where is the bullshit? The Draw Slasher must be a very cool and arrogant existence, but the Draw Slasher is a very small knife, just like a throwing knife. But if one were to enlarge its appearance, then it would be a Draw Slasher." Long Fei looked at the mini Draw Slasher and said with a bit of difficulty, "How do you want me to use this?" And then he started looking at the attributes. Weapon, Draw Slasher grade. Divine level damage. Description, using chi to control the saber, moving through thousands of miles in a godlike manner, moving strength, pneumatic moving sabers without a doubt. Description 2. This knife requires the understanding of the Little Li flying knife to be released. Long Fei was dumbfounded. Little Li throwing knives? Li Xuanwan's strongest move. Nie Feng's weapon? This. Long Fei laughed shamelessly and said, "System, you are so awesome, I am truly unable to accept it. Since you said so, then I must comprehend the concept of Little Li's flying knife." Long Fei's heart boiled with excitement. He looked at the description and was secretly excited when he heard the description, power, air, blade, there's no mistake. "Ancestor, what are you eating?" Long Fei asked. The ancestor muttered, "It's a lousy piece of clothing." Long Fei, "All right. Anyway, I'm already used to it." Ding. The purple snow divine robe has been swallowed. The system sounded out. Following that, the ancestor was silent for a moment, as if he had refined the energy inside the divine clothes. A few seconds later, his eyes opened and a surge of energy rushed into the god's devil ancient case and locked onto the blood corpse ancestor. In that instant, Yen Huang ancestor quickly said, "Brat, do as I say." The idea enters the magic box. Faster. Long Fei truly checked the demon arts of the blood refinement art and the blood corpse manipulation art. Upon hearing the ancestor's voice, he did not think much and immediately activated his idea. Cultivate all of them. Ding, ding. 2 notifications sounded. Long Fei's idea also entered the god's devil ancient cases. Immediately, his idea was attracted by an enormous force. This was the power of the Yen Huang ancestor. Rumble! Rumble! The waves of the myriad demon's blood pool rose as Yen Huang ancestor shouted, "Little brat, I still can't shake you." Buzz! A surge of power immediately rushed towards the blood corpse ancestor and crushed it. At this moment, the blood corpse ancestor was only half a meter away from Xie Qin's fleshly body, and moreover, in less than a minute, its power had multiplied by several times. If not for Yen Huang ancestor, he wouldn't be able to control it with just Long Fei's power, and even the energy of the entire 1,000 demonic blood pool would be absorbed by it. Kid, open the magic box. The idea enters the blood corpse's body. Long Fei quickly followed. He didn't know what the Yen Huang ancestor wanted to do, but he was sure it was for his own good. Boom! The god's devil ancient case opened, releasing demonic qi in all directions. A bloody light rushed out. The blood corpse ancestor looked as if it was about to become a spirit. It looked extremely ferocious, and its body released many rays of golden light, looking extremely strong. In this kind of situation, even an expert of the level 7 War Emperor would not be able to deal with a blood corpse ancestor. Just as Inu had said, it was invincible. The moment the blood corpse ancestor flew out, the Yen Huang ancestor's idea moved. Little brat, go inside obediently. The power wrapped around the blood corpse. The blood corpse was directly pressed into Inu's brain. The blood corpse struggled crazily, but to no avail. The power of the Yen Huang ancestor was firmly suppressing it. Ready! Yen Huang ancestor reminded him. His strength was suddenly drawn out, and Long Fei's idea completely controlled the King of Blood Corpse. Boom! Long Fei's sea of consciousness was like a flood. A powerful mental shockwave struck over, leaving King of Blood Corpse empty in his sea of consciousness. He could not help but shout out in his heart, "Three-rate peerless Technique. I can even kill Inu. Just you? Be more honest with me. Rumble." With a loud sound, Long Fei moved his true qi, releasing the powerful energy of the blood corpse manipulation into the King of Blood Corpse's body. It was also at this time, Inu's body suddenly sprung up and sat on the ground. His eyes were empty as the vigorous level 7 War Emperor qi and the spirit qi on the blood corpse ancestor's body intertwined together. The moment he stood up, his empty eyes locked onto Long Fei. Cold sweat seeped out of Long Fei's palms as the idea moved. Floating above his palm, the god's devil ancient case sneered and said, "I can let you live. I can let you die too. Kneel." His voice carried boundless authority, as though it was the voice of a king. Inu looked at Long Fei, and then stared at the god's devil ancient case in Long Fei's palm, hesitated for half a second, and then kneeled down heavily in front of Long Fei, paying respects to Master. He was not afraid of Long Fei, but he was afraid of the god's devil ancient case. The power of the god's devil ancient case could make him instantly turn into ashes. He was the same as a human. He would die from a slap. Long Fei laughed. "Ha ha ha. Sing a song of conquest for me." "Aya, I forgot that you can't sing this song. Sing along with me, and I'll be subdued by you just like that." Long Fei said so much that he looked like he was doing 250 yuan. Inu was being controlled by the blood corpse ancestor, and his level 7 War Emperor was being kept. What did this mean? This meant that he had a level 7 War Emperor helper. Just what kind of strength was this? Furthermore, S current strength was even more terrifying than level 7 War Emperor. Floating life, table of contents, no windows, A++ a level fighter. Awesome. At this moment, the system suddenly sounded out. Ding. Chapter 38_8419/2356708. Ding. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Demon Sovereign mission. The Blood Refinement Sect has submitted to him. The completion of the mission is 8 in 10. The system beep finished. Long Fei was dumbstruck. His entire body seemed to have been struck by lightning as he gaped in shock. Blood Purification and Blood Sect completed their mission? Is the system retarded? That's not right. How can the system be so stupid? Is there anyone smarter than the system? But Long Fei was a little confused. Logically speaking, he had already given up on the mission. In his heart, he had already given up on the mission of becoming a demon lord. This was because the 7 great demon sects had slaughtered Evil Sound Sect, and each and every one of those girls had died tragically. Long Fei wanted to exterminate the 7 sections. The demon lord's mission did not allow him to use force. Once he had completed the mission, his speed would decrease and his task reward would be halved. But now that he had slaughtered the entire Blood Refinement Sect, what is it? The mission was even completed. Suddenly, Long Fei looked at Inu. He was currently being controlled by the Blood Corpse ancestor and was still kneeling on the ground. Bug. Absolute bug. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed. He could not hold it in at all. In the game, the quest was set to be dead. As long as one touched the quest would be considered as completed. As for what methods one used to complete the quest, the system would not care. He wanted to conquer the 8 great demon sections. In Evil Sound Sect, the moment those disciples kneeled in front of him, he completed the mission of submitting to the Evil Sound Sect. Just now, even though Inu was dead, his body was still kneeling in front of him, which meant the task had been set and completed. Knowing this, Long Fei smiled. I didn't expect there to be such a bug in this alternate world. Ha ha ha. It's simply too great. Then there's hope for this mission. The Demon Lord was an SS rank mission and had a rich reward. If he could complete Long Fei, then he would want to complete it. Long Fei asked, Ancestor, can Blood Corpse be exchanged for flesh? Yen Huang Ancestor replied, Of course you can just change it. You idea can control it. Oh no. Long Fei laughed wickedly. He was worried that the Blood Corpse ancestor would not be able to leave Inu's body earlier, but it looked like he would not have to worry about that anymore. What demon king? What 8 great demon sects submitting? Go to hell. What do I want? Experience, experience, experience. Long Fei started to worry about where he could go to level up. He wanted to level up to the War Master Ream as soon as possible, and then go to the Dark Canyon to find that 9 secret underworld finches. Of the 7 great demon sects, just one was enough. The Evil Ghost Sect, the Mountain and Sea Sect, the Blood Sea Sect. All of you, wash your butts and wait. I'm here. Ha ha. Long Fei moved her idea and summoned her fire and ice, saying, Ice and fire, target Evil Ghost Sect, come out. One day later, the news of the Blood Refinement Sect being massacred spread throughout the entire South Horizon region. Who did it? No one in the 8 demon sects has been able to do this, ever, since the god's devil ancestor was split into 2. True blood is shed from the entire blood sect. Not a single one is still alive. Even the corpse of the Blood Refinement sect master Inu was not found. It's too terrifying. That's too much of a relief. That's right. The blood refinement sect has committed many evil deeds over the years. Many years ago, they refined a woman 8_8419/2356709. Eldest senior sister. Eldest senior sister. Eldest senior sister. When Xiao Tiantian ran, he was so happy that he was jumping around like a little rabbit. Moreover, her breasts were much larger than last year's. Look, it's senior apprentice sister Xiao. She's so beautiful, so cute. Isn't senior sister Xiao in closed-door cultivation? I heard that he broke through the War Master Ream a while back. Why did he suddenly come out? So cute. If I could marry her, I would be willing to sacrifice 10 years of my lifespan. Don't you know she already has someone she likes? On the way, many disciples were discussing. If it was the past, Xiao Tiantian would definitely stop and properly teach them a lesson. But now that she didn't have the time, she wanted to run to senior sister's courtyard as soon as possible. As he ran into Lu Luoshi's courtyard, Xiao Tiantian was startled. Second senior sister, you're also here? The two of them were startled. Do you want to tell senior sister about joy in Lu massacre of the blood sect? But instead, they saw more worry. Did all of you know? And more worry than before. Tiantian was a little depressed. Lu Luoshi turned his back to them. I still want to be the first to tell Big Senior. Let's go, second senior sister. Tiantian you're going a little too fast. And gave a light. Aren't you? Oh, Yi Zian also walked into the courtyard, saying, Junior sister apprentice, senior sister, you really should take care to rest. Through the War Master cultivating must also be done in harmony. And said, after they left, Fei Lu is even working hard to cultivate down her face. I cannot retreat. As she sobbed, it's not like you don't know. I'm helping him steal the marriage. Luoshi squatted Big Senior, what covered his head with both hands, and cried out loud, smiled slightly, so stupid, and said, Why are you so stupid? I'll tell you one more thing. I'm not worthy of you. Why are you so stupid? Not only did Long Fei massacre the confirmation of the 3-year agreement, he also killed the South Sky's young master, trained desperately. She wanted to change her fate. Wow. She wanted to surpass Hong is so powerful now and control her own young master so that she could find the number one genius below Hong Tianjun. She found Hong Tianjun's face was powerful with astonishment as the sky. She looked an existence that she could not get over quietly standing at the side with difference could not be described with distance. Big one was the sky. Why are you not happy at all? She was almost desperate. Fei at the same time stronger. She hoped in her heart that Long Fei will definitely come to the heaven sect to snatch you back from senior fellow apprentice Hong. Because even if he can't snatch you back, Hong Tianjun would definitely kill him. And second martial sister, he cried his heart out. However, Xiao Tiantian she didn't dare to make a sound, while grinning, not to be able to exterminate the blood sect. She was not the least bit happy that Long Fei had risen to power. If he was more worried than anyone else, he would definitely become stronger in 2 years. Slowly stood up. Yi Zian, as her also took a step forward, her expression was as cold as ice. Why are you unhappy? What are you doing here? The reason why Long Fei became strong is so that Master Level 3 is really different and snatch you back 2 years later. It took me 3 minutes, but this time, waiting for her to finish speaking, it only took me 1 minute to sense my aura, said coldly. Not far behind if there's nothing else, he was wearing a white robe and cultivate. And there was a hint of anger in his eyes. My closed-door cultivation. The number one genius of the southern senior domain, sister, Hong Tianjun. Furthermore, he did not intentionally hide his presence, and even so, Lu Luoshi still took a full minute to sense his presence. This realm was too terrifying. Too much can be done in a minute. Killing a person was easy. Lu Luoshi did not turn around and asked again, What are you doing here? Hong Tianjun smiled faintly and said, This is the second time I've seen you cry for a man. What a pity, what a pity. He made it sound as though it was an understatement, but in his heart, his rage billowed. Lu Luoshi's gaze tensed up and said, What's a pity? Hong Tianjun laughed coldly, his tone also becoming ice cold as he said, It's a pity that he doesn't have the qualifications to compete with me. We still have 2 more years of time from our marriage. His life only has 2 years. If he dares to come, then he must die. Very arrogant. It was an unbridled, and scrupulous kind of arrogance that disdained everything. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. It was useless in the Fireglass City, and it still wasn't here because he was Hong Tianjun, the #1 genius of the Southern Domain. Lu Luoshi clenched his fists and did not speak. Hong Tianjun sneered. What does Sidufeng count for? If it wasn't for his father's presence 5 years ago, I could have killed him with a single finger. So what if they're the blood refinement sect? I don't care about the entire devil sect. I don't even care about the entire Southern Domain. A mere ant-like Long Fei. Humph, if I stomp on him once, I can stomp on him 10,000 times. There's more. Hong Tianjuan's figure moved and suddenly landed behind Lu Luoshi. His body seemed to be close to her as he coldly spoke next to Lu Luoshi's ear. You are my Hong Tianjuan's woman, and even if you get spoiled by me, you are still my woman. Don't think of taking out my palm in your entire life. Understand? Lu Luoshi was trembling. His entire body was shaking. Hong Tianjun was actually laughing coldly. With a devil-like sneer, he took a small step back. When he walked out of the courtyard, he stopped and did not turn around, instead saying, I'm just telling you something. I've already broken through the war god realm. Long Fei, just trash. After he finished speaking, Hong Tianjun laughed towards the sky and walked out. Lu Luoshi instantly collapsed, but this time she cried loudly, her tears tearing and tearing, causing people's hearts to ache as she shouted loudly towards the sky. Long Fei, save me! Chapter 5. After today's update, with the support of the monthly tickets, the C will work even harder to code words. Thank you. 8_8419/2356710. Burp, burp, burp. Inside Warpet space, 2 burps sounded out. Long Fei not only had liver pain, all of the muscles in his body ached. He had promised them he could eat the spirit stones because of a small mistake. And then, there was no then. Space Ring S originally had thousands of spirit stones, but now not a single one remained. Listening to their burps, Long Fei said, after eating so many of my spirit stones, if you all don't help me break through faster, I'll break your JJ by 10 centimeters. Huh. Xiao Bai's expression tightened and said immediately, Master, I will definitely break through soon. Binghua giggled. 10 centimeters? Brother Xiao Bai, if you're so scared when you're 10 centimeters tall, then yours is just too short. Xiao Bai. Long Fei. Ice and fire was a dragon. Even if it was a low-grade 2-winged dragon, it was still a dragon. A dragon was a terrifying existence. He did not place 10 centimeters in his eyes. Xiaobai stared at him and bellowed, "What is mine is 10 centimeters, while yours is 100 centimeters. Master, ice and fire don't need you to help them. I will always teach him a lesson, yet he dares to mock my little JJ, humph." Long Fei said, "Teach him a lesson ruthlessly." The fire and ice immediately felt that they were in trouble. I'm training. I guarantee that I can break through to the 15th level. 4 days later, Ghost King Mountain. An old man blocked his way. Lonely spirit. The last time that a level expert had appeared in the Tianyun city, he had easily trampled and killed Sidufeng, who had evolved into a primordial beast. Long Fei looked at Gu Han and asked, "Where are my 2 brothers?" He could ignore everything else, but this matter had always troubled him. He had not seen Li Yuanba and Arhut ever since Long Fei was captured in the evil sound sect. From what he knew, these 2 elders were the ones who took them away. They are training in the secret realm, while Ghost is teaching them. Long Fei secretly heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Since there was no danger to his life, he could just let it go. He looked at Gu Han and asked, "Senior, why did you stop me?" Gu Han looked at Long Fei and said, "The blood refinement sect has been annihilated. Are you still going to continue destroying the ghost evil?" "Yes, sir." Long Fei immediately said, "Because they offended me. So I will eliminate him." Gu Han's eyes became serious, and he said, "The 8 great demon sects are the descendants of the Sky Demon clan. Although the 8 great forces are like a pile of loose sand, but they are demons after all. Can they let go of this hatred?" "Sorry, I can't let it go." Long Fei said very straightforwardly, even if he could put down his experience, true chi. However, the scene of the evil sound sect girls being abused to death was still fresh in his mind. If he didn't wash them clean with blood, he would never forgive himself. Before, he could have ignored it. However, he was now the sect master of the evil sound sect. He could not let those female disciples who were still alive lose heart. Gu Han said slightly, "There's no room for negotiation?" Long Fei nodded and said, "No, I must bathe them in blood." Huff! Gu Han let out a heavy sigh and said, "Evil sound sect being slaughtered. I also did not expect that the 8 sect masters would have done it too far. However, they are still the last line of the demon race in the South Horizon region. So I like it when you let them live." His lifelong ambition was to unite the 8 great demon sects and make them stronger. Afterwards, he would spread the heavenly demon blood flag throughout the entire South Horizon region. Long Fei's appearance gave him a trace of hope. However, he also felt despair. Long Fei was completely out of control. As long as his style of doing things annoyed him, then it would pursue him for 1,000 miles, an existence that did not rest until one side died. Long Fei looked at Gu Han and said slightly, "Senior, I know what you're thinking about. The current devil sect is no longer the former devil sect. They only have benefits in their eyes, and they are not worthy of being called devils. They are only a few sinister and despicable villains. Against the God's devil ancient case, all they have in their eyes are benefits, scheming, and a fight. Do they have any thoughts for the future of the demon race in their eyes? No, there's no need for a devil sect like this to exist anymore. If you want the demon flag to fly in the South Horizon region, there is only one way." Long Fei said very seriously, right now, he could see through these 8 great demon sections. It was just that. In his heart, he felt slightly sorry for the 7 people who died in Sea Devil Emperor. Gu Han looked at him and said, "What method?" Long Fei slowly said, "Ashes was reborn." Huh. Gu Han was stunned. It was also at this time that Long Fei walked past him. When they were walking parallel to each other, He slowly said, "Finished." Long Fei walked to the entrance of the ghost evil, and the idea sank, roaring towards the sky. "Goetia, get the hell out here." Rumble, rumble. The evil chi permeating the ghost evil sky suddenly resonated with thunderous roars, like the wails of evil spirits. "You dog, you really dare to come? Do you think I'm trash like Inu? Humph! Today, I will let you know the power of my ghost evil. All disciples, listen up and kill." The bloodbath began. One man, one saber, killing all the way from the entrance of the mountain. The entire way, blood splashed all over the ghost evil. Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing ghost evil disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 300 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei. The system beep continued to ring. From the moment Long Fei started to kill, the system had never stopped. One set of sounds after another exploded, after another. Long Fei was extremely arrogant and killed in a world of darkness. From day to night, and from night to dawn, Long Fei stood outside the ghost evil palace, looking at the incomparably ugly face inside. The dragon Salyer pointed and said, "Goetia, come out and die." When Long Fei was massacring the ghost evil, Lonely Spirit was still standing on the same spot, his mouth constantly muttering the words, "Ashes be reborn." Suddenly, an incomparably mournful scream came out from the summit of ghost evil. Guhan's eyes slightly looked up, and a sharp light flashed out. "Ha ha ha. What a good. Ashes was reborn. Good boy, then go ahead and do it." Then, the lone soul transformed into a stream of light and disappeared into the horizon. He wanted to return to the secret realm. He wanted to train Li Yuanba and Arhut for Long Fei. He wanted the 8 great demons to die and reach their peak. He wanted the heavenly demon blood flag to fly in the wind and let the entire South Horizon region know that the demons were still alive. And all of this, it was all because of Long Fei. Outside the ghost demon palace, Long Fei's chest was on fire. His face was pale white, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. The level 7 War Emperor is too strong. With my current cultivation, it's still not enough. All right. Blood Corpse Ancestor, crawl into his body. Chapter 18_2356711. Half a minute later, Gui Xie knelt in front of Long Fei. "Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Demon Sovereign quest, 3/8 of the completion rate. There are still 5 sects left." Long Fei's gaze moved slightly as he looked in the direction of the Blood Moon sect. The idea moved and said, "Ice and fire." Understood. Boom. Ice and fire flew out, carrying Long Fei and flying towards the Blood Moon sect. Puffed. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood on the dragon's back, swallowed a few healing pellets, and muttered, "Level 7 War Emperor." During his battle with Gui Xie just now, Long Fei did not use any ultimate skills. No, he wasn't his match yet. In the end, he had to use the unexpected card, Inu, to kill Gui Xie. The ancestor said faintly, "Why are you doing this?" From his point of view, Long Fei did not need to do this. Long Fei had many arts that could catch Gui Xie off guard, making it impossible for him to defend himself. Just like how he killed evil girl saints and Inu. However, Long Fei did not do so. Long Fei laughed faintly. "I want to know how far apart I am from the level 7 War Emperor." This was only secondary. What Long Fei really wanted to do was to borrow the strength of these level 7 War Emperor rankers to train himself. Combat training. They were the best training partners, not caring about life or death. his level would need to be increased, and his battle experience would also need to be increased. Time and time again, in desperate situations, he would be able to unleash potential that he could not even imagine. Huff! Long Fei looked at his own level. War Elder level 6. I'm still 4 levels away from reaching the War Master Ream. His idea entered the god's devil ancient cases, looked at Xie Qin's body, and slowly said, Sis, I will definitely save you. I definitely will. At the same time, Long Fei raised his head to look at the sky and muttered, Wait for me, there's still less than 2 years. Wait for me, I'll definitely come and find you. He clenched his fists tightly. Long Fei's heart was incomparably firm. Hong Tianjun's mountain was firmly pressed on his heart. He knew that Hong Tianjun was very strong, extremely strong. How strong would the Hong Tianjun of 3 years later be? Long Fei didn't know. He only knew one thing. 2 years later, he was going to trample Hong Tianjun to death. 6 days later, the Blood Moon sect had been massacred by Long Fei. This time, Long Fei and sect Master Shuiyu's battle time was increased by half a minute. Finally, Long Fei was still sent flying. However, sect Master Shuiyu was petrified and then killed instantly by Long Fei. The Berserk Blood Moon wheel was eaten by the ancestor. Thousands of spirit stones were also eaten by Xiao Bai and Bing Hua. Sidu Hao said coldly, Long Fei, you are destined to be a failure. Pass my order down. Marshall Hall, 100,000 elite disciples, move. Target, Blood Sea sect. It's time to uproot the 8 great demon sections. In addition, Sidu Hao's forehead turned sinister as he looked at an elder and said, You will lead 1,000 disciples to the Evil Sound sect and kill all of those remnants of the Evil Sound sect. I will make the 8 great demon sects disappear forever. I want the 8 great demon sects to be barren. As long as it was someone related to hurting his son, he wouldn't let a single one of them off. There's no one here again. It seems like they've gathered at one place. Long Fei frowned, looked in the direction of the Blood Sea sect, and laughed. All right, then. It also saves me the time to look for it. Blood Sea sect. Chuantian, I'm here. With a flap of his ice and fire wings, he flew towards Blood Sea sect. In another place. Old bastard, Nantian sect is moving. I had expected that this old cunning fox Situ Hao would not let this matter rest. He must be waiting for an opportunity. He will definitely make a move against the devil sect this time. Wild Ghost said coldly. Guhan continued. Also, they even sent an elite team to rush to the Evil Sound sect. Wild Ghost's brows shook and said slightly, The reason why Long Fei massacred the 8 great demon sects is because of the female disciples of Evil Sound sect being killed. If the remaining female disciples were to be killed again, I'm afraid that he would go berserk and go to Nantian's sect, no matter what. Nantian sect, the #1 sect in the South Horizon region. 1 million disciples. This alone was something that no one could shake. Even if the Heaven sect was as strong as the sun itself, it would still be the same. Lonely Spirit was silent for a moment. Baidu search. Half afloat, he turned his head to look at the secret realm and said with a smile, It's time for them to come out and take a breather. Wild Ghost was startled for a moment, then laughed and said, Ha ha, good idea. I can't teach these 2 kids any longer. Their talent is the most overbearing and bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I really don't know how Long Fei found these 2 people. The 2 of them. Too fierce. Chapter 28_8419/2356712. Blood Sea sect. Blood Sea sect. Before, he only had 4,000 disciples, but now, more than 10,000 disciples. The entire Blood Sea sect felt like it was exploding. Qiu Wantian's courtyard. The other 3 sect masters sat there. Chiu Wantian said lightly, "Sect leaders, please rest assured. As long as Long Fei dares to come, I will make sure he does not return." He was a peak level 7 War Emperor ranker. He was completely different from Inu, Goetia, and Blood Moon. Even if Vengeance Sect Master is here, he wouldn't dare to come. Exactly. Vengeance Sect Leader, we will depend on you this time. The 3 great sect masters were truly shocked. Long Fei was completely crazy. Chiu Wantian smiled faintly and said, "But if the sect masters have promised to do so, then you have to keep your word." Sect Master Cho, don't worry. We will definitely not get our hands on the treasures of the gods' Devil Ancient case. I, soul demons, will keep my word. As a condition, when the 3 great demon sect entered the Blood Sea sect, they were not allowed to think about fighting God's Devil Ancient case. However, these people were all despicable and sinister villains. Who would know when that moment really came? At this moment, reporting to Sect Master, Chiu Wantian asked, "What is it?" The disciple said, "A young man has come down the mountain." Before he could finish his words, the faces of the 3 sect masters turned cold. He's here. Long Fei is here for the slaughter." The muscles in the corner of Chiu Wantian's eyes twitched as he coldly snorted, "He's finally here." The disciple looked at the 4 sect masters' nervous expressions and was shocked in his heart. How strong is Long Fei? However, the disciple said in a low voice, "Sect Master, the one who has come isn't Long Fei. It's one of Nantian's sect's envoys." Their faces darkened. Chiu Wantian's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Why are you not clear about this?" He was obviously shocked. The scene of Long Fei killing the evil girl saints in the 10,000 Yin Forbidden Land was still fresh in his mind. The other 3 sect leaders also let out sighs of relief. Right now, they couldn't hear the words "a youth has descended the mountain." It was like they were hearing a magic spell, and they couldn't help but feel fear from the bottom of their hearts when they heard it. Chiu Wantian said, slightly, "Nantian sect's emissary? What are you doing here at this time?" Is it because of young Master Nantian? Chi Mei said, "Brother Cho, Sidu Feng was killed, but Nantian's sect did not make a move. He definitely has a reason for coming here." "That's right. This old cunning fox Situ, how has never made a loss. He must be plotting against our devil sect this time." The disciple continued. "That messenger said that Nantian's sect is here to deal with Long Fei." "Huh." Chiu Wantian rolled his eyes and said forcefully, "Can't our 4 devils handle a mere Long Fei? Why did you need Nantian sect's help? Let him wait for me in the side hall." The topic of conversation had changed too quickly. Even that disciple couldn't react for a long time. Chiu Wantian shouted, "Why aren't you going?" Yes. Chiu Wantian slightly shouted, "I want to see what that Sidu Hao wants to do." Half an hour later, ha. "Envoy, rest assured that I will do as you say. Also, help me thank sect head Situ." Chiu Wantian said respectfully. The envoy of the Southern Sky region said lightly, "Sect Master Chiu, please wait. Our enemies are the same this time. Leave Long Fei to us." Thank you. Chiu Wantian was extremely eager. Towards Long Fei, he was also a little fearful in his heart. It was rumored that Long Fei was already a War Emperor ranker in the outside world. Even for him, it was a little too much. Right now, Nantian sect wanted to take revenge for Sidu Feng and stop him. Watching the envoy leave, Chiu Wantian was all smiles. Is there such a good thing in the world? Ha. This is my chance, Chiu Wantian. As long as I obtain the God's Devil Ancient case, what does a mere Nantian sect count for? Ha. And then one of the elders asked, Sect leader, could it be Nantion Sect's scheme? Sly. Humph. In this Bloodridge Mountain, even a crafty scheme wouldn't be able to do anything to me. Xiao Wantian was extremely confident. His mind was filled with the fantasy of the god's devil ancient case. The elder did not say anything more. Ha ha ha. In another place, Situ Yao laughed loudly. Truly a pig. Xiao Wantian, you want me to protect your blood sea sect? You're really too naive. 100,000 disciples had hidden themselves within the Blood Sea Mountains. Situ Yao, level 7 war emperor. This time, it was the commander of 100,000 disciples. He followed Situ Yao's instructions, and, as expected, Xiao Wantian agreed without even thinking. Elder, what should we do now? Push forward 100 kilometers. Surround Blood Sea sect completely. Also, watch out for long phase movements. Report to me the moment you enter the Blood Sea Mountain range. Remember, you mustn't stop him. The Devil Sect can't handle a mere piece of trash from the War Elder realm, but he's nothing more than an ant in my eyes. Our goal this time is the Blood Sea Sect, to uproot their roots. Situ Yao did not even put Long Fei in his eyes. Moreover, he wanted to borrow Long Fei's strength and quickly push towards the Blood Sea Sect. The first day passed. Long Fei did not appear. The next day passed. Long Fei still had not appeared. The third day, in Situ Yao's tent, a disciple ran in and said, Long Fei has appeared. Situ Yao's eyes flashed with a trace of light, and he excitedly said, All right. Immediately report to Xiao Wantian. Even if Long Fei breaks through our defense and dares to rush to the Blood Sea sect, we Nantion sect will follow him with all our power. Situ Yao had already thought of everything. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ha ha ha. My Situ Yao's name has also resounded throughout the entire South Horizon region. Blood Sea sect. Xiao Wantian's eyes were filled with anger, and he bellowed, Nantion sect can't even take a single blow? You can't even defend against a single Long Fei? Trash. The #1 sect of the South Horizon region? In my opinion, it's the #1 trash sect. He thought that Long Fei would be intercepted and killed before he even arrived, and then Xiao Wantian frowned and shouted, So what? You dog, watch how I'll take care of you. In the air, above Blood Sea sect, ice and fire flapped their wings, soaring high in the sky. However, there was no sign of Long Fei on the dragon's back. Ice and fire circled above Blood Sea sect once, then flew into the clouds. It disappeared. In another place, Xiaobai said in a low voice, Master, it's just as you had expected. There's a large group of people up ahead, and they are all Orthodox sect disciples. Nantion sect. Long Fei moved and said, Enchanted. Buzz. Strongest upgrade system. With the body of the sky demon, the corners of Long Fei's lips curled up slightly as he sneered. Situ Yao, I really have to thank you for sending such a large wave of experience. Ha ha ha. Xiaobai, kill him. Chapter 3, I have urgent matters to attend to in the morning, and an update will be delivered tonight. 8_8419/2356713. Long Fei was not stupid. Long Fei was not stupid. If the 4 devils joined forces, he would definitely think of a way to deal with it. On the very first day, he appeared within the Bloodridge Mountains. However, he felt that Nantion sect's army had arrived with the intention of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. 1 shot, 2 condors if he were to die. He would also get rid of 4 devils. If that was the case, Long Fei immediately laughed. To him, Nantion sect was bringing coal in the middle of a snowstorm. Giving him a big wave would require his experience. Roar! Xiaobai howled. A white figure flashed out, and landed on top of a Nantian sect disciple, pressing him down onto the ground and breaking his neck in one bite. Next, whoosh, Xiao Bai flew out again, and without giving the other disciple any chance to react, he instantly killed him. Long Fei moved his right hand, taking out the dragon salyer. The dragon salyer dragged on the ground as it slowly walked forward, its body emitting an aura of death. Step by step, he walked out of the dark forest, as if he had walked out from hell. Enemy attack. Boom. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, he was once again killed by Xiao Bai. Blood dripped from the wolf's mouth. It was extremely vicious. It was also at this time the surrounding disciples of Nantian sects. Marshal Hall quickly came over. "Who is it?" Long Fei smirked. "Your ancestor." Schwa. With one step, the dragon salyer dragged its body to the ground, and with a swipe, it got close to the man. With a slash, the disciple's body was split into two halves. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nantian sect's disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 200 true chi, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 1 spirit stone. Air. I feel like I'm missing something. Long Fei opened up the system to check. Points. Right. Points. Long Fei moved, looked at the surrounding Nantian sect disciples whose gazes carried killing intent, and said softly, "Enchanted." Wang. The aura around his body suddenly changed. The bun was scattered like it was about to be crazily burned, turning into a blood red as the thick devil energy continued to churn. "Yes, sir. It's the devil race. Damn it, it's the demons. Quickly go and report to Elder Sidhu that we were ambushed by the demons." I don't know anything else. However, they were very clear about the demonic chi on Long Fei's body. It was demonic chi, and only the demons could release such an aura. Adding that this was the Blood Sea sect, they immediately thought that the Blood Sea sect was ambushing them. It was also at this moment the corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly, revealing a death god smile. The idea moved and revealed a god's devil ancient case on the palm of his hand. "Blood Moon, kill for me, don't leave a single one alive." Boom. The god's devil ancient case rumbled. There must be another reason. Report. Outside the main hall, a disciple, covered in sweat, stumbled and ran into the hall and said, reporting to sect leader, Nantian sect's 100,000 disciples are currently surrounding the Blood Sea Peak with fire. Huh. What? The few sect masters' expressions tensed up as they looked at Qiu Wantian. Qiu Wantian said slightly, "Nantian sect must have come over after seeing Long Fei's mount flying towards the Blood Sea sect. Don't worry, their goal is also Long Fei." An elder said, "Sect master, 100,000 disciples. Is there really a need to have so many people against a single Long Fei?" "That's right. Could it be? Their target is us." Qiu Wantian's heart sank as he asked immediately, "How far are they from Bloody Ocean Peak?" That disciple replied, "We're already at the foot of the mountain. This is bad." Qiu Wantian finally realized Nantian sect's true goal. Clenching his fists tightly, he said, "Sidhu Yao, you old fox, aren't you being too ruthless? You want 2 birds with 1 stone? Humph, then you're thinking too much." Qiu Wantian's heart was filled with anger. Like a phantom, his figure rushed out of the main hall and landed on the martial arts arena. Floating in the air, his hands frantically formed seals, the demonic chi on his body enveloping the entire Blood Sea Peak. The devils in all directions. Open the Blood Sea formation. Wang. A bloody light exploded from his body. In the blink of an eye, it had enveloped the entire Blood Sea Peak, the grand protective formation of the mountain, and the Sea of Blood was activated. Chapter 48_8419/2356714. The Blood Sea sect continued to be a part of the Heavenly Demon Clan's formation. The Blood Sea sect continued to be a part of the Heavenly Demon Clan's formation. Only the Blood Sea sect of the 8 great demon sects had a protective magical formation. Moreover, Qiu Wantian was a formation master himself, and the formation was even created by the number 1 sect master of the Blood Sea sect. Since birth, this was the first time it had been opened, and outsiders did not know of it. Buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A bloody light enveloped the entire peak of the Blood Sea. It was as if the sky was covered by a bloody halo of light. Elder Situ, the great protective formation of the Blood Sea sect, has been activated. Situ Yao's brows tightened, the corners of his mouth drew back, and he laughed coldly. Great Mountain Protection Formation? A mere Blood Sea sect actually has a Great Mountain Protection Array? TCH, aren't you afraid of being laughed at? As soon as he finished, Situ Yao's voice turned cold. With 2 blades in his hands, he moved as fast as lightning, quickly landing in the air above Blood Sea sect, and asked, "Vengeance sect leader, what are you doing?" Qiu Wantian looked at the Situ Yao in the distance and laughed lightly. "Elder Situ, Long Fei offended us earlier. For safety's sake, I will set up the Great Mountain Protection Array. Long Fei has already flown out. He must be in this Blood Sea mountain range. He killed your young master, Nan Tian. Quickly go find him." This time, he would not be so foolish. Situ Yao laughed out arrogantly. "Ha ha ha. Long Fei, only that ant. I don't even put him in my eyes." Situ Yao's gaze tensed up as he stared at Qiu Wantian and said, "Qiu Wantian, what I want is your life. It's your 8 great demon sects. As for Long Fei, that's just a side effect." Situ Yao's eyes were filled with contempt as he faintly smiled and said, "Qiu Wantian, you still have a chance to choose right now. As long as you submit to me, Nantian sect, and the 4 devils becomes a branch of me, Nantian sect, I will spare your lives today. From today onwards, you and the other 3 demon sects will be under my command." Without waiting for Qiu Wantian to speak, Qimei scolded loudly, "Situ Yao, F***CK, your Situ family's ancestors. Do you want us to submit to you? Even if we submit to a dog, we won't submit to you. And they were sent by you? All these years, how many disciples have you, Nantian sect, killed from our devil sect? You still have the cheek to say that you're submitting?" The flames were raging. Qiu Wantian's expression tightened and immediately pulled Qimei back and said in a low voice, "Brother Qimei, don't be angry." The other 3 sect leaders also began to persuade him. One of them said softly, "Actually, even if the Great Mountain Protection Array can hold on, but what about Situ Yao? We haven't cultivated to that extent yet." In addition to that, there's also the hidden Long Fei. He's definitely staring at us like a tiger eyeing its prey, and will definitely not let us off. Submitting down now might be a good choice. Qiu Wantian said, "Brother Soul Demon is right. We are now facing enemies from the back, and this is also a way out." Qimei looked at them and thought that it was funny. "Have you forgotten your identities? You are from the demon race, the heavenly demon race. Submit to Nantian sect. I would rather die in Long Fei's hands than to submit to him." Qimei said with righteous indignation, "You guys are good. Nantian sect did not kill your disciples, but what about my Mountain Sea sect? All these years, countless disciples have died. I hate Nantian sect to the bones." Qiu Wantian frowned. The expressions of the other 2 sect leaders also changed slightly. In midair, Situ Yao sneered and said, "Have you thought it through? Don't say that I didn't give you a chance." Chiu Wantian smiled slightly and said, Elder Situ, there's no need to be anxious. For such a big matter, we need some time to think about it. How about this? We will give you an answer tomorrow morning. All right. I'll give you guys one night to think it over. Situ, Yao smiled slightly. It was indeed good to uproot the demons. However, if he could subdue this small force called Four Devils, then Nantian Sek's power would be even stronger, and his death could make up for it. More importantly, the areas occupied by the Devil Sect were all places rich in spirit energy, so their cultivation speed would increase by quite a bit. This was the best choice for Nantian Sect. Situ Yao sneered in his heart. So this is the demon race? Greed, fear death. What heavenly demon race? They are simply a pile of dog shit. He believed that Chiu Wantian would definitely submit to Nantian Sect, because that was their only choice. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nantian Sect's disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 200 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Ding. Long Fei listened to the system beep and followed the rhythm of the rhythm. When 5 words float in the sky, every one of them feels great. Ha ha ha. The blood moon that was being controlled by the blood corpse ancestor was simply a killing machine. They fought from noon until night without stopping. Long Fei took a look at the experience slot. There is still 5% remaining to level up, and I will soon be at the 8th level of the War Elder. Sister, wait for me. Once we reach the War Master Ream, I will go to Dark Canyon. Right now, he was only a little more than 2 levels away from the War Master Ream. Suddenly, Master Nantian Sek's Situ Yao wants Chiu Wantian and the rest of the 4 devils to submit to him. Huh. Long Fei's heart tightened. They have submitted already? Binghu replied, Give me your answer tomorrow morning. F***CK. Long Fei let out a heavy breath and said, If they submit, then what am I playing for? Wouldn't my mission as the supreme expert of the demon race fail? No way. Submitting from the 4 devils would inevitably cause an impact to his mission of becoming the demon lord. He couldn't possibly make them submit once again, right? The system will definitely recognize that the quest has failed. Right now, he was just a bit away from completing the quest. Long Fei still wanted to put on his sky demon, set to show off his skills. Immediately, Long Fei's mind started to spin frantically. A few minutes later, Long Fei said, Kill crazily and kill until daybreak. Originally, Long Fei was very relaxed, but now he had also joined in the hunt. The only thing he could do now was to level up and break through. Midnight. The matter of Long Fei poking Nantian Sect with the chrysanthemum finally reached Situ Yao's tent. Situ Yao smashed the table with one hand. Long Fei, you're courting death. Elder, what should we do now? The veins on Situ Yao's forehead bulged as he exhaled the rage that was suppressed in the center and said, Long Fei is only a stinky bug. He can't overturn the sky. Tomorrow, I will first subdue the 4 devils and then use a might as strong as the heavens to crush this smelly insect to death. Early morning, Situ Yao landed above the Bloodsea sect and laughed coldly. It's time, Chiu Wantian, to submit or to resist. Choose one. Chiu Wantian looked up at the sky and smiled faintly. They had already made their decision. At this moment, Long Fei stood in the air with the dragon Salyer on his shoulder. His gaze trembled as he stared at Situ Yao, and a cold smile appeared on his face. Boss. Chapter 5 was sent over with the monthly tickets. They wouldn't be able to get any higher. The sea swears that if this month's monthly tickets can rush to the top 6, including the 6th, the sea will explode on the 1st of next month. 8_8419/2356715. Looking through the system, Situ Yao's body was glowing with a golden light. It was as if he was a piece of gold under the light of a lamp. Looking through the system, Situ Yao's body was glowing with a golden light. It was as if he was a piece of gold under the light of a lamp. It was dazzling. Without a doubt, this was a boss. How could the elder who commanded 100,000 Nantian sect Martial Hall disciples not be the boss? Long Fei, Situ Yao did not react, but Blood Sea Sect's Chiu Wantian, and the others reacted immediately. He really came. The soul demon's face was cold as he said, "Long Fei, today is the end of you." Chiu Wantian also laughed. Isn't appearing at this time courting death? Obviously, they had already made their decision to submit to Nantian's sect. Long Fei stared at the 4 sect masters of the Blood Sea sect and sneered. "The Sky Demon clan has been completely disgraced by you. Can you guys at least show some face? For tens of thousands of years, have you seen the demons turn into the lackeys of orthodox sects?" Chiu Wantian's face slightly changed and laughed coldly. "Long Fei, who do you think you are? What does what we decide have to do with you?" The soul demon said in disdain, "That's right, we have lost the face of the demon race. Then what do you count as? The 3 great demon sects have been massacred. What kind of god's devil successor are you?" "I forgot. You half-human, half-devil are a bastard. Ha ha. Ha ha ha." The 4 devils' sect leaders all laughed. Long Fei frowned. He felt that it was extremely ridiculous. Was there even a need for demons to exist? Looking at their wild laughter, Long Fei coldly laughed. "So what if you have baptized the 3 great demon sects in blood? Today I want to massacre the entire Blood Sea sect and let all of you who have lost all face disappear from this time." "Ha ha. What big words you have there." Situ Yao disdained, stared at Long Fei, and said, "You are merely a mere war elder level 8, yet you dare to be so arrogant." Chiu Wantian followed. "Elder Situ, didn't you want us to submit to you? As long as you kill Long Fei and hand him to me, my 4 devils will submit to you. From today onwards, we will only listen to your orders." "All right," Situ Yao bellowed, his gaze locking onto Long Fei as the corners of his mouth lifted. "Against this kind of trash, I only need a finger to do it." Chiu Wantian laughed loudly. "Long Fei, aren't you arrogant? Isn't it to slaughter our 4 devils? Go and challenge Nantian's sect. Go and be cocky with Situ Yao. Ha ha ha. You want to kill our 4 devils? Long Fei, you are still very young." Now, he didn't have to worry at all. Chiu Wantian never thought that Long Fei would actually appear at this critical juncture. It just so happened that he could have a fight with Situ Yao. No matter who won, it would be them who won. Chiu Wantian shouted loudly, "Men, bring out the chair for me. I want to watch this battle. Give me some more melon seeds and peanuts. It's just watching a show. We need to prepare for it." A few chairs were brought out, and the melon seeds started to eat. Chiu Wantian raised his hand, and the surrounding Blood Sea sect disciples clamored, "Fight! Fight!" "Ha ha ha." Chiu Wantian said with a satisfied expression, "This feels too good." Long Fei looked at the system quest. "Fortunately, I was able to make it in time. I should say just a little bit more, and I would have failed if Long Fei had appeared 1 minute late. Their 4 devils would have already submitted to him. In that case, the mission of the demon elder would have definitely failed." Situ Yao moved his right hand and said faintly, "You dog, return my nephew's life." As soon as he finished, the might of the level 7 War Emperor soared into the sky, forming into a ferocious beast that roared and pounced straight towards Xiang Longfei's mind. Buzz. Longfei's mind sank, and violent turmoil began to roll over. It was very hard. F***CK. Yet another disgusting pressure attack. Long Fei cursed in his heart, the space between his eyebrows sunk, and he suddenly roared in his heart, "Bedevilment! Shwa. His body felt like it was on fire, turning into a god's devil body in the blink of an eye. Next, the pressure in his sea of consciousness lessened slightly, and his body stabilized itself in the air. Situ Yao looked at Long Fei, who had become a demon, and laughed disdainfully. It's really just as they say, half human, half devil. Actually, he's a bastard. Long Fei, die, move. A long blade appeared in Situ Yao's right hand, and he stabbed out. Moon severing saber art. The sharp blade Qi spear attacked Xiang Longfei. His left hand moved, and another long blade appeared. Situ Yao did not even put Long Fei in his eyes, but he would not underestimate any opponents. Even if it were an ant, he would go all out. The two-handed blade was his greatest strength, attacking with his right hand while changing his left hand. In this instant, huff! Long Fei let out a light breath as his gaze locked onto Situ Yao. A strong pressure pressed towards him, but he did not retreat a single step. I don't want to play with you this time. Long Fei softly said a sentence, then moved the idea. 3-rate peerless technique. Boom. 8 times the usual attribute. The sky demon's thick demon chi was raging crazily. Teleport. Whoosh. His figure disappeared. Situ Yao's mouth twitched and said, too slow, with such speed. You still dare to fight with me? Humph, overestimating yourself. The instant that Long Fei moved, Situ Yao's speed had also increased, and the right blade once again locked onto Long Fei's path. Long Fei clenched his teeth. Charge! Shwa! Rumble! Facing the powerful blade aura, Long Fei still did not retreat, and rushed forward without a care. Ha ha! Long Fei is going to die. What is this trash's mind thinking? Hitting someone else's blade aura is simply courting death. Trash is trash. I really don't know how Inu, Guixia, and Shuiyu were killed. Just based on their combat experience, they wouldn't be able to survive. The 4 of them kowtowed as they stared at the sky. The 4 of them all felt that Long Fei was definitely going to die this time. Situ Yu's crescent blade chi was a famous, unique skill with extraordinary strength. He would definitely be defeated in a single slash. Long Fei was retarded. He still rushed forward without caring about his life. Instantly, a long streak of blood cut across his chest, and his health point was immediately reduced by half. Ha ha ha. I've already said it. You're just looking to die. I can deal with a Long Fei like that, with just one hand. Just a finger is fine. The 4 of them laughed. Battles were fought using skill, not carrying it with one's life. Smashing into someone else's attack. What difference was there between this and seeking death? However, Long Fei did not show any expression of pain. Instead, his face revealed a death god-like smile. Enough distance, http, // ha ha ha. Situ Yao, not only will I kill your nephew, I will also kill you. Boom. Long Fei's eyes changed. Demon snakes, I release. Chapter 18_19/2356716. The corner of his mouth raised a little. May I ask, can I be arrogant in front of you? Situ Yao's entire body was in pain. He was severely injured, and the reaction of his body could no longer keep up as he stared at Long Fei and roared. Long Fei, you dare to kill me? Nantian sect will overturn all 18 generations of your ancestors. Wow, I'm so scared. Long Fei pretended to be afraid, stared at him, and roared again. I just want to ask you one thing. Can Laozi be so arrogant in front of you? With that, without waiting for Situ Yao's reply, Long Fei's body suddenly landed below Situ Yao, and the pubes exploded. A thick sky demon chi was released. Heavenly note break. Roar. With an angry roar, just like the roar of an ancient beast, the sound waves attack one after another. Situ Yao's body stopped falling. The flesh on his face rippled out wave after wave. And immediately after, a few fine lines appeared on his face. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, the sound waves were like blades, harvesting madly. Greater than sign, just like countless thin blades cutting his body. In the end, Situ Fong was flung out, releasing waves after waves of pig-like howls. Long Fei, you dare to kill this old man? Nantian sect will not let you go. Even 100,000 disciples will not let you off. Ah! As he was sent flying into the air by the sound wave, Long Fei's forehead turned sinister. You won't let me go? Ha ha! I won't let them go. As soon as he finished, the dragon salyer in Long Fei's hands tightened its grip, and at the first level of the idea, the dragon salyer suddenly jerked. A tornado rose up into the air, the powerful true chi surging forth as the tornado directly wrapped Situ Yao up. Moonlit step, three-rate peerless technique. Long Fei landed on Situ Yao's head with a sinister look on his face, as though he was a judge of life and death. He revealed an arrogant and overbearing smile and said crazily, I'll tell you, I am arrogant. That's crazy. Situ Yao was afraid. Looking at the condescending Long Fei, he was incomparably afraid. He had never been this afraid before. From the time he was petrified until now, he simply did not know how he had gotten here. He only knew that when he was beaten up by Long Fei from top to bottom, he did not even have the chance to retaliate. Too terrifying. Even if he died, he would still keep this fear in his heart. He couldn't hold it at all. Situ Yao said in a trembling voice, Long Fei, you are this grandpa. You can be as arrogant as you like. I'm wrong. I won't dare to. I beg you, please forgive me this once. He immediately started begging for mercy. If not, he would truly kneel down in midair. Die. Anyone would be afraid. The better your cultivation, the more you will be afraid of death, because the higher your cultivation, the more precious your life is. However, Long Fei grinned and laughed, saying, It's too late for you to answer. Ha ha. And Long Fei's voice turned cold. If I didn't kill you, how would I have dropped it? Ha ha ha. His laughter was like thunder. In the center of the tornado, Long Fei's left hand was holding onto the god's devil blade, while his right was holding onto the dragon salyer. Swish, 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 swish. Inside the tornado, it was crazily killing everything in its path. The HP above Situ Yao's head started to decrease rapidly. Too powerful. He couldn't stop it at all. Just because. Long Fei got close to him. It was precisely because of this tiny bit of carelessness that Long Fei didn't give the level 7 War Emperor's Situ Yao any chance to retaliate at all. From start to finish, he only made one move. Not even one more move. 4 devils, sect, master, raised his head to look at the battle in the sky. His expression was extremely unsightly, as if someone had ruthlessly slapped him a few times. There was no expression of satisfaction on his face anymore. The entire Blood Sea sect was quiet. Not a single sound could be heard. Rumble. Long Fei's blade slashed at Situ Yao's skull, and he bellowed, Explode for me! The blade slashed at the top of Situ Yao's head. Equals half carrot float, hashtag life carrot. And then he suddenly exerted force, causing the water to sink. Rumble! S body was directly smashed down, smashing onto the Great Mountain Protection Array. Long Fei's gaze turned sinister as he laughed sinisterly. It's your turn next. Chapter 28_19/2356717. Boom. Boom! Situ Yao's body exploded on the light of the Blood Sea formation. When the four sect masters saw Situ Yao's body fall from the sky, the soul demons immediately became paralyzed with fear, and they sat down from their chairs. The other three people had ugly expressions on their faces. Situ Yao was awesome. It was instantly overturned. Is Long Fei still human? Was it even possible for a human to kill a level 7 War Emperor Rancor at the 8th level of the War Elder? This was the case for killing evil girl saints. All sorts of divine level cultivation techniques were continuously released and crushed, not giving one any chance to resist. And now again, it happened again. The four of them were completely stupefied. It was also at this moment Long Fei floated in midair. The idea moved. Release your striking attribute. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Situ Yao for gaining an experience point, true chi point, energy values point, and points 100. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Southern Sky Dual Blades. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining War Emperor Soul Essence. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the top quality Blade Spirit. Do you wish to fuse with it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Kunlun Mirror. The system kept ringing. Hearing one berserk after another, Long Fei started up. Fierce is great. Suddenly, Yan Huang Ancestor chewed on the Southern Sky Dual Blades as he said, Boy, the Kunlun Mirror is not bad. I'll keep it for you. Huh. Long Fei was overwhelmed by the unexpected favor. Old man, you're really great. There was actually a holy artifact that the patriarch did not eat. How could he not be grateful? Immediately, Long Fei moved his body, opening up the system to check the properties of the Kunlun Mirror. Item, Kunlun Mirror grade. Divine. Description. The God Realm Mirror of Mount Kunlun is protecting the things of Mount Kunlun. Because of the collapse of the 10,000 demons breaking through the seal, the Kunlun Mirror is able to light up the monsters and beasts that escaped from the seal of Mount Kunlun. Description. Active touch. Description. Each time you catch a demon or vicious beast, the strength of the Kunlun Mirror increases by a level. Long Fei took a glance and said, faintly, There's nothing much, just like using a demonic mirror. I'm not a demon catcher. How would I have the time to look for some ferocious demon or beast? Yan Huang Ancestor almost choked and said, What do you know, brat? This is only one of the power of the Kunlun Mirror. Once it excavates all of its power, you will know how powerful it is. Also, if you had a Kunlun Mirror back then, the Devil Snake Girl's petrifying energy would not have been able to do anything to you. Yan Huang Ancestor did not reveal all of the functions of the Kunlun Mirror. He was a little worried that Long Fei would need to dig up some of his own in order to sharpen his mental fortitude even more. It was definitely beneficial for Long Fei. Long Fei muttered, All right then. And then Long Fei looked at the War Emperor Soul Essence and asked softly, What is this? Yan Huang Ancestor said, It's the soul of the War Emperor realm. If you fuse with it, it will help you increase your pressure resistance. Fuse. Hearing the ancestor's words, Long Fei didn't have any hesitation at all. The thing that gave him the most headache was the pressure attack. Moreover, he didn't use the soul training skill at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to worry about refining the souls of several big bosses. Then, Long Fei looked at the Blade Spirit and said, I know about that. Swords have a sword spirit. Blades also have a sword spirit. The Yan Huang Ancestor rolled his eyes at Long Fei and said, The Blade Soul is called a Blade Spirit and not a Blade Spirit. You can fuse with this thing, but not finding a heart of ancient fairy tree can also increase the might of the dragon Salyer a little. Air. Just a little, Long Fei muttered, and said disdainfully, Damn, no matter what, is it a top-quality blade spirit? Just a little? Yen, Huang ancestor, said, Your dragon salure should be a supreme artifact. What else do you want? Do you want others to die? Long Fei now had a lot of holy artifact on him. If it was any other practitioner who knew this, it would most likely cast a shadow over their heart for the rest of their life. They did not even have a single earth-rank spirit tool. But Long Fei was looking down on the top-quality sword spirit. This difference was more than 1,000 miles. It was simply 1,080,000,000 kilometers. Fuse. Just as the Yen Huang ancestor had said, the dragon salure was able to flash a little more brightly. It had only grown a little stronger, but this little bit was enough to raise the strength of a supreme artifact. What is he doing? I haven't moved for a long time. The soul demon said in a trembling voice. Could he have been seriously injured by Situ Yao? Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to not move for so long. That's right. What on earth is going on? Chi Mei followed to ask. Qiu Wantian shook his head and said, Long Fei is definitely plotting something. Soul Demon said, Even Sita Yao is not Long Fei's opponent. What should we do? Brother Cho, you promised to protect us. Qiu Wantian was also afraid, but the deaths of an evil girl saints had let him know one thing. He definitely could not give Long Fei the slightest chance. As long as Long Fei found a trace of an opportunity, he would be caught unprepared. Qiu Wantian shouted, Soul Devil, can you do anything about it? My blood sea diagrams is not something he can break. Taking a step back, even if he can break through the formation, when the four of us join forces, would Long Fei, who has consumed a great deal of his true qi, be able to withstand it? Qiu Wantian continued, As long as the four of us work together, killing him will be as easy as pie. He was convinced of that. Moreover, Qiu Wantian looked at the stunned Long Fei in the sky and said with a cold laugh, Long Fei, you bastard, why did you stop? Is killing Situ Yao very powerful? Come down here and kill us. Ha ha ha. The soul demon shivered as he said in a low voice, Brother Cho, why did you anger him? Qiu Wantian's gaze darkened, and he said, You'll know in a while. Following Qiu Wantian's voice, Qiu Wantian, are you in a hurry to be reborn? Long Fei had been busy looking through the items that had dropped, and now that his expression had recovered, his gaze shifted to the four people below and said slightly, Don't be anxious, it's your turn now. Qiu Wantian said fearlessly, Long Fei, then come, ha. Finished. Long Fei was enraged. He rushed forward and punched with both fists. Rumble. His body was sent flying. Both his arms seemed like they were about to break. It was extremely uncomfortable. What a strong backlash. Uff, Long Fei's vital energy and blood surged, and he couldn't help but spew out a mouthful of blood. His eyebrows tightened, and he scolded angrily, Damn, it's a formation again. Caret, half, /float* life. Formation. This was the second thing that Long Fei hated. Every time he had to think of a way to break through the array, he was in a bad mood. Ha ha ha. Qiu Wantian laughed complacently and said, Long Fei, is this great? Chapter 38_8419/2356718. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.